What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 6BS Chapter 131, Debunked Advertisement, Damn Boy. Zhao Du's face was gloomy and terrible, and he immediately roared, "How dare you play this uncle?" In response, Qin Yu just gave a cold smile, haha. Immediately, he said solemnly, "Who is playing around? It's just that the first generation of Hokage, who was 800 miles away from Konoha, threw a shuriken at me, and then was frightened by a look peeing. That's it, you are too embarrassed to shout at Ninja World. Have you played against the first generation of Naruto?" These few words of Qin Yu were like a gun, and he didn't give Zhao Du any chance to react at all. Qin Yu did it all in one go, and finished what he wanted to say. And at this moment, Zhao Du's face instantly became extremely pale. In fact, he was frightened and fleeing because of a look from Senjuan and a murderous intent. In his heart, there has always been a shadow in his heart. He mentioned it when he had nothing to do, but it wasn't actually for boasting. Rather, in a sense, it is not just talking to the opponent, but also to oneself. Zhao Du he brainwashed himself from time to time. As for brainwashing, the content of the brainwashing is that I have fought with Senjuju. We really played against each other. The horns are all old monsters that have lived for nearly 100 years, so no one else can verify what he said. So fundamentally, no one refuted him. For so many years, he pretended to be forced, and what he pretended to be, smooth wind. However, I didn't expect that Qin Yu would ruthlessly untie this scar today. This time, how can he not get angry? Especially the Fei Duan who was his companion. After listening to Qin Yu's words at this moment, he began to look at him like a fool. Then he looked at him with shocked expression and asked, "Damn, Zhao Du, is this kid's statement true? You've been bragging about fighting against the first generation of Hokage. Did you really throw a shuriken at him after 800 miles? Is it true? Oh, why don't you speak? If you don't speak, you just tacitly agree. Oh my god, you are so awful. The opponent is nothing more than a guy who has gotten a name. You are an immortal person. As for that." At this moment, the horns really couldn't bear it anymore, and on the spot, they directly exploded at the fly section and said, "You are riding a horse. You don't even know how terrifying that person is. He is known as the god of ninja. The so-called immortal body is a joke in front of that person. Besides, I was not immortal at that time. As a person of that era, Zhao Du knew deeply about the power of Senjuan. As a person of that era, he had directly felt the deterrence of the first generation of Hokage. However, Fei's segment is very disdainful. As the only brainless and arrogant guy in Akatsuki's organization, he curled his mouth in disdain and said, "Bah! What a shit ninja god, if I say it is a vain name. And you were frightened by a look in the eyes of a guy who was so silly, and you can only say that it's too unbearable. Zhao Du, I'm so disappointed with you. I didn't expect you to be so embarrassed. After I go back, it seems that I have to consider looking for the leader to say that I will change my partner." Fei Duan's mouth kept talking, and the angry horns once again directly spit out a fragrant swear word. "You are riding a horse. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. You are awesome, you are strong. Advertisement, at your level, if you really want to meet that person, you will have to be dismembered if you meet him." Zhao Du also had to taunt back at this time. However, as far as Zhao Du said, Fei Duan was full of disdain. "HMPH. If he dares to stand in front of me, this uncle will definitely send him to see Lord Cthulhu." Okay. After hearing this, Zhao Du sneered directly, and then said, "Since you don't even look at the first generation of Hokage, then this kid is of course not to be a problem, right?" Fei Duan straightened his lips and said naturally, "Humph, of course, are you nonsense? In my opinion, the two of them are the same kind of people." Seeing this, the corners of his mouth lifted and sneered. "HMPH, if that's the case, then this kid will leave it to you to deal with it." "HMPH, Zhao Du, you won't be persuaded again," Fei Duan shouted directly, "but it doesn't matter. Just leave it to me. I will sacrifice him to Lord Cthulhu." Feiden is a very religious cult disciple. In addition, he is also a very easy-headed militant. "Humph," Zhao Du snorted in dissatisfaction with what Fei Duan did, and then said, "Remember, you can't destroy his head. I want to exchange it for money." "FKU," Fei Duan said directly and furiously. "I followed you to kill people all over the place during this period. You have all the heads used for money. This is disrespect for Lord Cthulhu, do you understand?" "You know what a fart." However, in response to this, Zhao Du roared in a low voice. "Do you know what this kid is?" "What's it?" the short-rooted Fei Duan asked in a daze. The expression in Zhao Du's eyes suddenly became frenzied. He stared at Qin Yu, and said to Fei Duan, "In your eyes, he is just a kid who owes him to death, but in my eyes, he 200 million taels of silver." Do you know now? When the horns mentioned 200 million taels of silver, his green eyes were shining. What is the concept of 200 million taels of silver? Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fanfiction second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. However, Qin Yu smiled indifferently to this behavior of Fei Duan, and he didn't necessarily make any movements. Immediately after Fei Duan took out his weapon, he rushed towards Qin Yu without even thinking about it. As soon as he finished speaking, he immediately continued, "Zhao Du, just watch it by your side." He left it to me. You don't need to say any more, I must sacrifice him to Lord Cthulhu. Hearing this, Fei Duan also pondered for a while and said, it makes sense. You know, the most important thing is faith, do you understand faith? I bother. Standing in place like this, silently watched the other person gradually approach him. Fei Duan yelled loudly while taking out his weapon. Seeing Baba talking about another non-stop flight segment, Zhao suddenly felt a little pain in his head and shouted, stop. With Qin Yu's head alone, he can top many people on the bounty list. It was a huge three-bladed sickle with an exaggerated shape. This is a very huge number. Kang, it's not so much, it's better to beat him down first. The money is amazing, it's just a pile of waste paper. Chapter 132. First encounter advertisement. The flying section at this moment is extremely excited. I saw him sprinting towards Qin Yu with all his strength, while constantly yelling, look at Lord Cthulhu, I will fight seriously. I will be very serious and will pull out his intestines. The flying segment at this moment can be described as a mystery of self-confidence. He came to Qin Yu's body quickly, and said as he wanted to attack, Qin Yu is right, your little life, I will accept you today, Uncle Fei Duan. Fei Duan's hands clenched his three-edged sickle tightly and began to wave it. After the giant three-bladed sickle drew a cold light in the air, it slashed directly at Qin Yu's shoulder. Ooh! The three-bladed sickle slashed through the air and instantly brought a whine of wind. A huge weapon, coupled with sturdy strength. If he were hit this time, it is estimated that Qin Yu could be cut in half instantly. However, Qin Yu did not move until the sickle in Fei Duan's hand was about to approach Qin Yu's side. When Fei Duan thought that his attack would definitely succeed, he had already revealed a bloodthirsty expression. Clang! A clear voice sounded. Qin Yu's left hand unexpectedly grasped the long handle of the sickle. At that moment, Fei Duan only felt a powerful force coming from the tiger's mouth of both hands. He simply can't let the weapon in his hand continue to advance. However, in the next second, Qin Yu's weapon was directly grasped by Qin Yu, unable to advance for half a minute. Nani? How can that be? Fei Duan looked at everything in front of him in astonishment and didn't believe that his weapon had been out of his control in this way. Ha ha! Qin Yu smiled coldly at this. In the next second, his arm exerted a slight force again. Puff! Fei Duan's face flushed, and his hands were desperately trying to master his weapons again. But where do you know, that huge force is simply not something he can contend. Even if he had two hands, Qin Yu only had one hand, that wouldn't work. Qin Yu used force again and raised the opponent's weapon. At this moment, the flying section was actually lifted up directly by Qin Yu with the weapon in his body because of the force. In an instant, Fei Duan's face turned red, and he was hanging slowly in the air. Bye. Qin Yu raised his eyebrows at him and immediately slammed his left hand, and then directly threw out the giant sickle. I saw Fei Duan being dragged by the giant sickle, and Qin Yu was thrown out together. In the blink of an eye, Fei Duan and the giant sickle directly hit a huge tree. Bang! With a loud noise, Fei Duan's body directly broke the trunk. This shows how exaggerated and powerful Qin Yu's power is. The remaining branches and leaves of the trees that were broken by the flying section then fell down. At the same time, huge smoke and dust were raised around. At this time, the flying section is immediately invisible, and people can't tell whether the flying section is alive or dead. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. These are almost all movie-level powerhouses present, and some small details are enough to allow them to gauge the true strength of the flying segment. Advertisement after all, weak chickens occasionally have highlights. However, as far as the real strong are concerned, they will never make low-level mistakes. After the Fei Duan was thrown out by Qin Yu and the weapon, Qin Yu began to mock it mercilessly. It's a joy to yell, actually. That's it. At this moment, Zhao Du, who had been watching the battle from the sidelines, had also set off a storm in his heart at this moment. Although he knew that the flying section would fail early in the morning, he never thought that it would fail so quickly and so thoroughly. Although it was only a blow, and the damage of this blow was not worth mentioning for the flying segment. But as a film-level powerhouse, some details of the problem can already reflect a lot of problems. For example, the sickle used for the flying stage just now is not simple, it is called the Bloody March sickle. It is a red three-segment scythe with multiple functions such as telescoping and splitting. The bottom of the sickle is connected by a rope, and extends to the rope loop at the waist of the flying section. With the expansion and contraction of the rope, the flying section can easily throw the scythe. And the design of the three blades is to make the sickle more able to hurt the opponent. Unexpectedly, Qin Yu spotted the flaw of the Bloody March sickle at the moment of the flying stage attack. However, he even grabbed the handle of the Blood-type March sickle, and then lifted the flying section with the sickle directly or even threw it out. Although Zhao Du is usually a little conceited, he put himself on the ground and faced the offensive of Fei Duan like Qin Yu. Zhao Du thinks that he is just dodge, absolutely can't directly turn defense into offense like Qin Yu. What kind of insight and accuracy is this? There was also the brute force of pressing both hands with one hand. At this moment, it also made the horns feel a little scalp tingling. Just when Zhao Du was thinking about it, the smoke slowly dissipated. An embarrassed flying section was immediately revealed. Only at this moment, I saw this guy rubbing his head with a grin, as if he was still a little dizzy because of the impact just now. When he woke up, Fei Duan directly stared at Qin Yu viciously. He immediately furiously said, "Smelly boy. It was just this uncle who was careless. You dare to look down on this uncle. Then, let you have a good experience of this uncle's strength." As Fei Duan said, he once again picked up his bloody march sickle and was about to rush up again. He had already seen Qin Yu's extraordinary from some of the details just now. Suddenly countless black lines appeared on Zhao Du's body. However, this time, Zhao Du was not ready to watch the show. "Just watch it for me, and I can easily kill Qin Yu without your help. Even the arms and legs are full of black lines, and the hands and feet are connected by black lines. The two have been teaming up for a long time, and they have already worked out a battle plan. Needless to say, the tacit understanding and cooperation between each other." "Humph." Zhao Du stepped forward and said in a deep voice, "Fei Duan, I'll help you." Fei Duan Jian Zhao still shot and didn't say anything, just snorted heavily and immediately stopped blocking. Suddenly, a so-called fascinating self-confidence was revealed. For the flying segment who couldn't listen to his own words at all, Zhao Du was also very helpless. Even so, he didn't plan to let Fei Duan face Qin Yu alone at this time. At this moment, Zhao Du was like, floating, in midair. However, Zhao Du said that he would step forward to help, while Fei Duan was very dissatisfied. "Fei Duan, you damn idiot," Zhao Du whispered angrily. "If it was accidentally broken by Qin Yu one by one, it would be bad." "Humph. What do you mean, Zhao Du? Even you have to look down upon me." Chapter 133. This money is really hard to earn. Advertisement. Due to the very peculiar skills of the flying segment is the main attack among the two, so as to obtain the opponent's blood as much as possible. And because Kakato can use the 5 elements of ninjutsu, he is extremely powerful in ninjutsu, so he is responsible for long-range attacks. In addition, because of Feiden's immortal body, Kakato's attacks can be done at will, and fundamentally, there is no need to worry about accidentally hurting his companions. Therefore, the cooperation between the two can be said to complement each other without affecting each other. It is a perfect combination. At this time, Zhao Du's hands had already formed the Indian style, and then he began to attack Qin Yu. Huo Dun head hard. A small fireball spit out from Zhao Du's mouth, and immediately shot towards Qin Yu. Although the fireball shot by the corner is small, it doesn't seem to have any powerful power. But Qin Yu knew very well that the energy contained in this fireball was extremely terrifying. Once the fireball hits the ground, it will expand the burning range at that moment, and then it will turn everything in front of you into ashes. It can be said that in the Battle of Naruto in the first and mid-term, this move of Kakato was almost the #1 fire escape ninjutsu. The first appearance of this ninjutsu, it destroyed a large area of forest. Ha ha. Seeing the small fireball coming from the shop, Qin Yu just sneered. I saw that his instantaneous body technique was activated, and the whole person instantly disappeared in place. Seeing Qin Yu dodging in the corner, his face also sneered slightly, and immediately his hands became imprinted again. Wind escape crush. The corner spouted a high-pressure wind ball from his mouth. The wind ball shattered, and a powerful whirlpool storm was instantly formed. At the same time, the storm is still exploding in a large area, forming a wave of wind claws that continue to strike forward. However, the target of Zhao Du's attack by Feng Dun turned out to be not Qin Yu, but the Huo Dun that Zhao Du issued just now. The assiduous end exploded immediately after flying out and turned into a sea of flames. At this time, the wind ninjutsu came again, and the huge wind claws produced by the pressure flew into the sea of fire. Under the pressure of the strong wind, the fire changed its direction forcibly and attacked Qin Yu again. At this time, the wind was entwined with flames, and it had long changed from wind claws to fire claws. In the blink of an eye, the powerful fire claw had already arrived in front of Qin Yu. Humph. Seeing this, Qin Yu snorted directly. At this moment, he saw his arms stretch out suddenly, and then he whispered, "Go to heaven." As the voice fell, Qin Yu's body began to spin like a top. In an instant, a huge blue light mask was formed. The many flames and wind blades were directly blocked by the blue mask. Okay. Looking at the large blue mask that suddenly appeared, the corners squinted slightly. He always felt that this move was a bit familiar, but he couldn't remember it. As for Qin Yu, he was a little dizzy at this moment. But for him, he can still withstand it, whenever Qin Yu wanted to attack. Defense, it's all temporary. Therefore, at the moment when Huishan was about to end, Qin Yu took the opportunity to draw out the Thunder God's sword from his waist. Qin Yu's right hand holding the sword slightly waved, and in an instant, 5 wind blades flew out of the Thunder God's sword. Feng Dun. Fengqi. Just after it exploded around, the wind cut across the sparks produced by the explosion, and instantly turned into a powerful fire escape ninjutsu. The flaming wind blade quickly attacked Zhao Du, and the position was very tricky, just at the position of the 5 hearts in Zhao Du's body. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi, Nani? Advertisement. The angle is very sensitive to position and direction because of the heart. In an instant, he came out. The 5 wind blades in front of him are aimed at his 5 hearts. This kid, isn't it? Does he know the position of all my hearts? How is this possible? Even if the B********** D of the red sand scorpion defected, he can provide him with information. But the location of my heart, even red sand exhaustion, is not clear. Is it a coincidence? No, it's impossible, it's a coincidence. In that case, it must be that this kid has a strong sense of perception. Yes, it must be so, this kid's method is really not easy. At this moment, 1,000 thoughts flashed through Zhao Du's mind. However, Qin Yu's attack came in a blink of an eye, and he couldn't allow him to think about it at this moment. Facing Qin Yu's attack, Zhao Du originally wanted to use the instantaneous technique to dodge. However, Qin Yu's attack was too fast, and it was too late to use the instantaneous technique at this time. In desperation, the horns had to quickly entangle the black lines together, forming 5 shields. The shield formed by the black line at the corners is blocking the 5 hearts very accurately at this moment. Puff 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 puff, 5 voices sounded, and Qin Yu's attack directly hit the 5 shields. Even penetrated directly into the past. It's just that Fengqi is a very low-level ninjutsu after all. After he pierced the 5 shields, he didn't have much strength, and he didn't have much strength to pierce the body of Zhao Du anymore. But that was the case, Fengqi still beat Xiaopao on Zhao Du's chest to ragged pieces, and there were also scars on his body. At this moment, Zhao Du's face became extremely ugly. It wasn't because he was deflated, but because Qin Yu's strength had once again refreshed his knowledge. Even compared to attacks, the defensive power of the grievances will be even more terrifying. I saw in his hand, a rope appeared suddenly just connected to the blood-type March sickle. At this moment, Fei Duan, who was a partner, waved his bloody March sickle and rushed up. This time, Fei Duan was obviously smarter, and he didn't even choose to fight in close quarters again. The horns looked at Qin Yu, then cursed in a low voice. This money is really not easy to make. But when he approached Qin Yu's 10-meter position, he threw his scythe directly. He never expected that his own grievances would be broken by a little wind. If I am not careful, I will find his way. It seems we need to be careful. And his grievances, that is Taki Shinobu's unspoken secret. With a slight movement of Fei Duan's hand, he operated the sickle again and attacked Qin Yu. More than that, this little wind cut hurt him. He knew the wind cutting technique very well, but it was just a very low-level wind ninjutsu. Qin Yu made a random jump and avoided the opponent's attack very easily. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fanfiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. This ninjutsu is extremely strong and has both offensive and defensive capabilities. It is a pity that such an attack, no matter how powerful it is, Qin Yu will not care about it at all. However, at this moment, Fei Duan suddenly laughed. The huge bloody March sickle came with inertia, and a strong wind had already arrived. Chapter 134. Wearing lamb skewers advertisement. With Qin Yu's jump, the bloody March sickle struck again. I thought that Qin Yu could not use his strength to dodge in the air. Who knew that Qin Yu suddenly shook his right hand and threw his Thunder God sword casually. Although it was thrown casually, the angle and accuracy of the Thor's sword were extremely tricky. It stabbed straight to the rope that was connected to the bloody March sickle. You know, the rope is extremely slender. However, in the process of exercise, Zuncheng stabs this is not easy. However, Qin Yu's throwing technique was inherited from the Uchiha clan, and it was extremely accurate. With the sharpness of Thor's sword, the rope of the flying section was cut in an instant. Immediately, the bloody March sickle lost control at this moment. Clang! With a crisp sound, the bloody March sickle fell to the ground. Humph! Seeing his unique weapon being destroyed, Fei Duan immediately gave a cold snort, his expression not very good looking. Even so, he didn't panic at all, because although the rope was broken, his previous strength was already in place. The sickle, which had lost the rope traction, still stabbed Qin Yu quickly. Moreover, in the gaze of Fei Duan's expectation, March sickle was about to pierce Qin Yu Zhenyi's face. Jia Jia Jia. Suddenly, Fei Duan's face was filled with a smile, and there was a bloodthirsty look hidden in the smile. At this moment, he seemed to have seen Qin Yu being cut and bleeding. And after he got Qin Yu's blood, he tortured him crazily. Whoosh! Under Fei Duan's tight gaze, at the next moment, Qin Yu's figure suddenly disappeared in place. Nani? The moment Qin Yu disappeared, Fei Duan was suddenly shocked, and then began to look for Qin Yu's figure. Obviously, Qin Yu's disappearance just now took advantage of the coordinates on the Thunder God's sword to leave. And just after Fei Lei Shen finished, he rushed to Fei Duan without stopping. When Fei Duan reacted, Qin Yu was already close to him. Fei Duan had already seen Qin Yu's methods. When he had a sickle in his hand before, he was not an opponent, let alone the sickle is not in his hand yet. Without even thinking about it, Fei Duan immediately wanted to retreat. However, how could Qin Yu let him leave easily? Whoosh! Without seeing Ji in at all, Qin Yu's left hand used the Chidori sharp spear in an instant. The sharp and powerful dry bird sharp gun shot out, directly into the heart of Fei Duan. Hurry up! At this moment, the flying section was full of shock, and there was a little bit of astonishment on his face. However, in the next step, he immediately laughed wildly again. Go on, Qin Yu, you go on, it really hurts me. Ah ha ha ha, Fei Duan originally had a handsome face, but at this moment, he was bloodthirsty and crazy because of the intense pain he had endured. He is immortal, but not dying does not mean that he will not hurt. Even because he was immortal, his pain was stronger than other people's. Over time, this caused his psychology to become more and more abnormal. However, Qin Yu had an incomparable understanding of Fei Duan's immortal body. It can be said that this guy really won't die. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Even if you dismember him, he is still alive. Advertisement. But now Qin Yu is not trying to kill him, but to confuse him. Stabbed. Suddenly the light of thunder shone, and the sharp dry bird sharp gun pierced into the body of Fei Duan. At this moment, it was even more brilliant. Rachel. Using the dry bird sharp spear as the medium, Qin Yu suddenly used Lei Che at this moment. Of course, Thunder Dunge can transmit lightning, not to mention ninjutsu like Chidori sharp gun. At this moment, Fei Duan was already shrouded by lightning. The powerful thunder and lightning attacked the opponent's body, causing Fei Duan's body to tremble constantly. Although he was not dead, the pain and numbness were real at the time, and they would not disappear together. On the contrary, because of the characteristics of his immortal body, the effects of this pain and paralysis will be more serious. In this instant, Fei Duan's body instantly turned black. At this time, when I look at the flying section, it makes people want to laugh very much. At this moment, after preventing Qin Yu's attack, the angle on the side began to use ninjutsu attack again. Earth escape. Earth spear. On Zhaodu's arm, the chakra of the soil system suddenly surging, and then instantly hardened. The mighty power rushed directly to Qin Yu in an instant. Although this trick looks ugly, it is actually very powerful. The arm that has been hardened by the earth attribute chakra is extremely powerful both in attack and defense. At this moment, Qin Yu didn't want to give up the electric shock flight stage, so his right hand danced decisively, and the Thunder God's sword was quickly cut out. After the extremely sharp Thor's sword is attached to a layer of powerful Lei Dun chakra, it becomes sharper, which can be described as unstoppable. And this is exactly the trick, Thunder Knife secret technique. The extremely powerful Thunder attribute chakra, coupled with powerful swordsmanship. After Qin Yu showed it at this moment, his power has reached a very powerful level. Compared with the two pillars of Sasuke in the original work, I don't know how much stronger this trick is at this time. Puff. The sharp Thor's sword cut directly into his arm in the shocked gaze of the corner. The earth spear, which was originally extremely strong, became very fragile in front of Qin Yu's thunder knife, just like a piece of fragile tofu. At this moment, Zhao Du's face was full of shock, and he opened his mouth wide and said in surprise, "How is it possible?" At this moment, Zhao Du, even because of shock, couldn't even care about the pain. A breaking wind sounded, and the figure of Fei Duan appeared behind Qin Yu. Whoosh! Obviously, he intends to use this Chidori sharp spear to directly wear the mutton skewers on the fly section and the horns. Qin Yu's figure disappeared in front of Zhao Du again, and when he appeared again, he had already come behind Fei Duan. Although Qin Yu's plan is good, Fei Duan is not stupid. Obviously, that was the instantaneous technique just now. Whoosh! Therefore, he dodges immediately at this moment. He hooked his mouth and said with a smile, "You are far worse than speed. Call out." He had suffered enough just now, and he already knew that electric shocks could paralyze himself. Seeing Fei Duan appear behind him, Qin Yu didn't panic at all. But this time, Qin Yu didn't use the technique of Flying Thunder God. This time, he just performed a very ordinary instantaneous technique. However, even if Qin Yu didn't use the technique of Flying Thunder God, his speed was still one of a kind. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fanfiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. When Qin Yu came to Fei Duan's back, the Qiandiao sharp spear in his hand was used again. However, Zhao Du was not so lucky. Chapter 135, A Blood. Advertisement. Originally, he wanted to use the substitute technique, but now it was too late. In desperation, the horns had to desperately mobilize the black lines of the whole body to form a defense in place, and stand behind him. Puff! How penetrating is the dry bird sharp gun. With a muffled noise, it directly penetrated Zhao Du's grievance defense. More than that, at the same time, he also penetrated the heart of Zhao Du. What? A precious heart was crushed by Qin Yu in this way, and Zhao Du shouted angrily. For him, a heart represents a kind of chakra attribute, and even more of his life. And this one heart was crushed, and obviously he also lost his life. At this moment, the angles are all exceptionally clear. The more he fights, the worse his combat power will be, and he will only become more and more passive. Roar! With a loud roar from Zhao Du, countless black lines suddenly appeared on his back. The black line shot quickly, and directly attacked Qin Yu. Because the red sand scorpion had defected, Zhao Du had already guessed that his immortal body would leak. Because, at this time, I didn't play any tricks of playing dead. He even felt that if he lay down and pretended to be dead now, the nasty kid behind would smash his heart to pieces. If that were the case, the joke would be a big deal. You know, Qin Yu now brings him too strong a sense of threat. Therefore, at this time, he didn't dare to gamble at all, and could only directly start a counterattack. However, something unexpected happened. The grievances that could have caused endless trouble to others were not enough in front of Qin Yu. This kind of pediatrics is also worthy of offering treasures in front of the young master. Look at how I fix you, Xiaoyi. Faced with the large black lines that suddenly hit, Qin Yu didn't panic at all. I saw him holding the Thor's sword vigorously, and then Lei Dun chakra injected a burst, dancing the sword and began to fly up and down. At this moment, he is just about to show flowers. The black line of the blockbuster was destroyed by the flying, and it was impossible to win Qin Yu. Even, in Qin Yu's eyes, there was a flash of murderous intent in an instant, and he made a move and wanted to go further. Because he wants to take this opportunity to try to kill the heart of the corner. At this moment, the corner seemed to feel something. He seemed to feel Qin Yu's thoughts, so he became nervous instantly. At this moment, he didn't dare to neglect the slightest, his figure moved slightly, and immediately pulled away desperately. He didn't feel a little relieved until he came to Fei Duan's side and was with Fei Duanwei. When he came to the angle of Fei Duan's side, he immediately complained to him, "Didn't you say that you can't die? Don't you always brag about your immortality in front of me? Why did you escape so quickly this time?" Quote. Humph. When Fei Duan heard this, he curled his lips in dissatisfaction and said, "You are so stupid. The immortal body is not immune to the paralysis effect of Thunder Dunge. I have suffered enough just now. Mada, the use of this kid's thunder escape is really exaggerated. You should have understood it." What Fei Duan said at this time, but Qin Yu's Chidori ninjutsu smashed a heart just now. When the flying segment was suddenly cut short, the corner was even more annoyed and said, "You fellow." Although angry, he also had to admit that Qin Yu was extremely powerful. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. This kid is a tricky opponent. Not only Lei Dun, even Feng Dun is very sharp. Advertisement. Next, let me attack with you. Be careful, don't overturn the boat in the gutter. Kill him early. The fly segment, which has always been unreliable, became inexplicably reliable at this time. He nodded, then said, "Reliable." After the confrontation just now, the two at this moment no longer have any contempt for Qin Yu. What is the so-called quagmire rules of one-on-one god horse, has been thrown by the two people a long time ago, I don't know where to go. One-on-one, really one-on-one, that's just killing. In the next flying segment and the angle, both of them started their cooperative attack. To say that Fei Duan is the main attacker is still a little bit, after all, Fei Duan's physical skills are inherently not very good. It can even be said that, not very good, has already praised him. In Qin Yu's eyes, his physique skill level is completely jokes, fundamentally failing. And it can be seen from the original work that this guy originally relied on that strange ability to enter the shadow level. In terms of physical skills alone, this product is the level of forbearance among the elite. Against his previous opponents, although he said that his physical skills were not good, he was still without danger by virtue of his immortality. Looking at his immortal body, he is almost unprofitable. But this time, facing a master of Qin Yu's level, he completely turned into an Iron Man. The two seem to have also noticed this problem, so now the two have also begun to change their tactics. At this moment, the corners no longer cooperated, but instead became the main attack. The two shadow-level powerhouses attacked together, and they felt a little pressure as strong as Qin Yu. Although Fei Duan said that physique was silly, but he must never let him attack him. He really got his own blood, it was not a joke. For the metamorphosis of this ninjutsu of Haidu, it is quite metamorphosis. As long as he can collect that person's blood, unless he has an immortal body like him, he will definitely be killed by Fei Duan. Facing the pressure of two shadow levels at the same time, it is not as simple as 1 + 1 = 2. It will produce the so-called 3 reaction. Since his debut, Qin Yu has fought dozens of battles, and he has also fought many film-level powerhouses. But strictly speaking, he has never faced two shadow-level powerhouses alone. If he doesn't open a kaleidoscope to right round eyes, he will still be a little strenuous. However, he has been consciously evading the influence of Shaolun Yan on himself. After all, this thing is considered to be something outside the body. He didn't want to become a silly person who wouldn't be able to fight if he left Shaolun. Now the battle has just begun, he will try to win with his own strength. The weakness of the flying section is obvious, that is, physical skills are not good. However, his physical skills were not good and he insisted on fighting with Qin Yu. You must know that Qin Yu's swordsmanship inheritance was a gift from the system. The awesomeness of the system god is how sharp it is. At the same time, on the sword of Thor, the wind attribute chakra and thunder attribute chakra are constantly changing. The conversion of the two attributes is like flowing water, without any sense of obstruction, just like art. Qin Yu's swordsmanship was invincible, and within a few rounds of the fight, the flying stage was already full of colors. It's just the place where this guy was attacked. Apart from bleeding in a short period of time, the wound will heal immediately. It is indeed a troublesome figure. Chapter 136, Flying Section of Outer Jiao Lin Nen. Advertisement. It's just the place where this guy was attacked. Apart from bleeding in a short period of time, the wound will heal immediately. It is indeed a troublesome figure. And Zhaodu's grievances and various ninjutsu, always helping Fei Duan out of the siege. Had it not been for all the horns, even if Fei Duan had an immortal body, Qin Yu would have been dismembered. It can be said that among the three, the most depressing of the battle is the corner. He could see that it would be difficult for him to defeat Qin Yu alone. It can even be said that he might fall under Qin Yu's hands. So Fei Duan must not be killed, even if it is more uncomfortable for himself, he cannot be killed. Puff. The Thunder God's sword in Qin Yu's hand was cut on Fei Duan's chest from an extremely tricky angle. Zhaodu's grievances couldn't prevent Qin Yu's attack, not to mention the chakra protection outside Fei Duan. This layer of his protection can be said to be in vain. The powerful wind attribute chakra broke the chakra protection of the flying section almost instantly. In an instant, Xiao robe in front of him split a big hole in an instant. Even the flesh and blood in his chest was turned out, bursting out countless blood. What? Damn B asterisk 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 D, it made me bleed again. I swear in the name of Cthulhu, I must dedicate your soul to the Cthulhu, so that you will become the eternal slave of the Cthulhu. Fei Duan grinned in pain, yelling at Qin Yu who was in front of him with teeth and claws. As for Qin Yu, he has long been accustomed to the style of this product. Therefore, he also ignored the yelling of Fei Duan. Huo Dun head hard. A cruel voice suddenly came from behind Qin Yu, it was Zhao Du's voice. Originally intending to take advantage of this opportunity to give Fei Juan a sword, but at this time also had to stop. Whoosh! There was a sound of breaking through the air. A small fireball came from behind Qin Yu, extremely fast. This time, Zhao Du's attack angle and timing are very tricky. In this attack, all Zhao Du's quasi-head was aimed at Qin Yu's back. If he was hit this time, Qin Yu would definitely be seriously injured and dying. And there will never be any accidents. Whoosh! Suddenly, the sound of breaking wind sounded instantly. At this moment, Qin Yu cast the instantaneous technique and disappeared in place. When Qin Yu appeared again, he had already appeared behind Fei Duan. Bang! After Qin Yu escaped, Zhao Du's ninjutsu head slammed into Fei Duan's body hard. The violent flames spread on Feidan's body on the spot. What, Zhao Du? Did you step on the horse deliberately? I burned to death. In the flames, Fei Duan's entire popularity directly breathed fragrance. Seeing Fei Duan so festive, Qin Yu smiled coldly at the corner of his mouth. I like baking so much, I'll add fire to you. With a slight movement of Qin Yu's empty palm, he had already tied a knot. Huo Dun head hard. It was another small fireball that had been extremely compressed, and it hit the Fei section from behind. Nani. The moment Qin Yu called out the name of ninjutsu, Fei Juan and Angle were both surprised at the same time. At this moment, Zhao Du's mind was full of question marks. How is it possible? How is this possible? Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi, this ninjutsu, how could he? Advertisement. A copy of Shaolanyan. But he has never opened Shaolanyan. Zhao is about to doubt life, what kind of situation is this? As for the flying segment, it's even more funny. I saw him yelling loudly, wipe. How come it's not over yet? Since Qin Yu was not far away from him before, the small fireball hit him instantly. Therefore, in this case, there is no way he can avoid it. Boom. Two small fireballs with hard ninjutsu heads one after another burst into extremely strong flames. The flying section located in the center of the flame was instantly burned out by the flame and tender on the inside. If it wasn't for this guy to have an immortal body, he would have to die just now. Zhao Du, are you a pig teammate? Can't you handle a stinky kid? Inside the flame, the scorched Fei Duan was cursing loudly. Obviously, this product is being baked now, but I feel extremely upset in my heart. Humph. In response, Zhao Du snorted coldly. After all, he hadn't thought of the current situation. He never thought that things would develop into this way. However, things were already like this, so he simply decided to go to the dark one by one. Wind escape crush. Zhao Du's hands quickly formed a seal, and immediately spit out a typhoon ball from his mouth. The direction of the typhoon ball attack was astonishingly towards the flying section deep in the sea of fire. In an instant, the typhoon ball shattered. A powerful whirlpool storm formed instantly. At the same time, the typhoon ball was still exploding in a large area, forming a wave of wind claws that continued to strike forward. Finally, the huge wind claws produced by the pressure flew into the sea of flames. The already powerful flame instantly became more violent under the action of the chicken claws. Whether it is the fire or the temperature, it has risen by more than one level at this moment. Obviously, Zhao wanted to push the flame to Qin Yu's side by this means. However, before Qin Yu could react, the flying segment that stretched out in the middle of the flame was already cursing again. Zhao Du, you are sick when you step on a horse. I'm still in the fire. Do you think I died fast enough? Stay away from the horse, give Lao Su a blow. You're just a fool, how come I show you such a pig teammate? I'm really P asterisk 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 D off this uncle. B asterisk 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 DB asterisk 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 DB asterisk 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 D. I really want to send you two to see Lord Cthulhu. Fei Duan was originally talking about tuberculosis, and now it is incarnation of super talking about tuberculosis. To shut up. At this time, the horns also directly furiously said, anyway, you are an immortal body, burn for a while and burn for a while. Anyway, I have to kill this kid with one blow. You keep roasting for me. Hearing this, Fei Duan went back furiously and said, FKU. As the most loyal believer of Lord Cthulhu, I should also pay attention to the good image. Uncle, my robe has been burned by the fire. Regarding Fei Duan's complaint, Zhao Du directly replied in an angry voice, huh. As long as you can kill this kid, this robe on you is a fart. If I can get rid of this kid, my mother will buy you 10 robes. When Zhao Du said, his eyes kept staring at the flame in front of him. Regarding this, Fei Duan said rudely, damn it. If you really kill it, then forget it. If you don't kill it, I will kill you all with you. Chapter 137. Bake the fire first, then soak in water. Advertisement. Humph. Zhao Du directly snorted coldly, and then he didn't bother to take care of the flying section. However, at this time, his heart was actually whispering. This time, the two heads were blown hard by the crushing wind, and the range of the flame was extremely harmful. This kid, shouldn't you run away now? And the reason why Zhao Du was so determined to use suppression at all is because Qin Yu also put his head on hard work. Because after the hard flames hit the ground, they were no longer under Qin Yu's control. So Zhao felt that at this time, he only had to make up for the wind pressure. Then it is bound to directly let Qin Yu suffer the consequences of cocooning himself. In fact, all of Zhao Du's assumptions are correct. The scope of the hard work of each head is already very large, and the wind escape is even more powerful. In this case, let alone two heads working hard now. The powerful flames even formed a terrifying wall of fire, and at this moment they moved towards Qin Yu from all directions. The scene at this moment, it is no exaggeration to say, the scene is extremely grand. If there is a need for comparison, then it can be said that the current scene is only better than the fierce fire extinguishing used by Uchiha Madara. At this time, it is simply impossible to dodge with instantaneous technique. After all, instantaneous technique is not space-time ninjutsu. Space-time ninjutsu can directly jump in space. And it involves mysterious space, so there is no trajectory. But the instantaneous technique is different, this is just a very fast-moving body technique. No matter how fast the body style of instantaneous technique is, it also has a movement trajectory and a movement route. If you compare it with time and space ninjutsu, there is no way to compare the two at all. However, in the current situation, facing such an overwhelming flame, there is no chance for the instantaneous technique. From the perspective of Zhao Du, Qin Yu now has nothing to do. I saw the corners of his mouth slightly raised, and said with a smile, "Huh. This time, I see what you do." As for defense, sorry, Kakado doesn't really believe in any ninjutsu at this time. You must know that hard work on his head is not an ordinary ninjutsu, not to mention the blessing of wind ninjutsu suppression. It is no exaggeration to say that even an ordinary water formation can never stop this move at this time. Although the attributes of ninjutsu are mutually restrained, water can restrain fire. But when the intensity of ninjutsu reaches a certain level, this attribute rule can be completely ignored. Therefore, the horns at this time believed that if Qin Yu was in the fire, he would definitely be burned instantly. At this moment, a bloodthirsty smile appeared on Zhao Du's face. If the ghost shark is here, maybe he can prevent me from this trick. But, with this kid, how could it be possible? Ha ha. Zhao Du at this moment seemed to have seen victory. If the horns had blank eyes at this moment, then he would definitely not think so. If he had blank eyes, then he could now see Qin Yu's expression through the flames. At this moment, Qin Yu, facing the violent flames coming from the pavement, he did not panic at all. At this moment, he has retracted the Thunder God sword into the scabbard. While on the hind legs in the flames, the hands are quickly knotted at random. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Water escape, a big burst of water rushing. Advertisement. After the Jia Yin was completed, Qin Yu suddenly shouted with his hands folded. This ninjutsu is the master ninjutsu of the second generation Naruto Senjutsu, Super Water Escape Ninjutsu. In the next second, Qin Yu's mouth suddenly widened, and immediately spit out an overwhelming stream of water from his mouth. The vast current swept across in an instant, instantly transforming a radius of hundreds of meters into a vast ocean. The vast ocean spread, almost instantly, the powerful flame formed by the combination of hard work and pressure on the head only brought out a small piece of water vapor, and it was quickly extinguished. Not only that, the powerful water waves instantly formed a huge ellipsoidal water prison. The moment the dungeon was formed, the flying section was directly trapped in the water. Damn, Gurulu, playing with me on a horse. Gululu. In the huge dungeon, the voices of the flying section were howling one after another. The B******************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************* this kid with a single blow. Gululu. Why is he still alive and kicking now, but I am locked in this damn place? You are so special, don't pretend to be dumb. Get me out quickly. Damn kid, you wait for me. When the uncle goes out, he will definitely torture you to death. I must send you to see Lord Cthulhu. Gululu. Feijuan was firmly suppressed in the huge water jail, and he kept yelling in his mouth. Even if he drank a few more sips of water, he still showed his TB attributes to the fullest. Because the flying section was too close at the time, and his relatively simple means. Therefore, he was caught in an instant, and the consequence was that he was directly trapped underwater. As for Jiaodu, he was far away and had a lot of means. So when Qin Yu released the Hai Dun, that could be called the sea, he noticed something bad. And it was at that time that he kept an eye on it. He is just a kid, how can he do this? It was because there was a place to stay, which prevented him from being suppressed directly like Fei Duan. Looking at the water volume and impact of this sea escape, it is estimated that nearby trees will be washed away. What exactly is going on? In such a short period of time, he has used Lei Dun, Feng Dun, Fire Dun and Water Dun one after another. As for the reason that Jiaodu was shocked, it was not just because Qin Yu displayed this super powerful, Hai Dun, ninjutsu. Let's just say that the water escapes, and it feels no less than that of the ghost shark. With no other choice but to quickly seal the seal, he immediately released a high earth wall with difficulty. I saw Fei Duan yelling at Zhao Du. Hey, Zhao Du, fighting with this kid, how come it looks like you are fighting? However, even though the catastrophe was escaped, his heart was shocked beyond the reach. This kid. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. And only in this way can he be considered a place to stay. Moreover, every ninjutsu's attainments have reached a certain level. Obviously, the mastery of nature changes is extremely profound. And the nature and attributes of these several types of ninjutsu are different. More reasons, at that time, because he remembered that Qin Yu had already performed several types of ninjutsu just now. However, even though this tribulation was avoided, Zhao Du's heart was shocked beyond the reach. At this time, not only Zhao was shocked, but even the silly flying section could feel it. Chapter 138, Tragic Flying Section. Advertisement. What the hell, it's only been a long time, he has already used several types of ninjutsu. Zhao Du, it seems that your 5 attributes are not so great. Look at this little devil who comes out casually, his ninjutsu attributes are almost the same as what you have. Fei Duan's mocking voice spoke directly to Zhao Du without concealment, and Zhao Du's expression became even more ugly. Shut up and fly, Zhao Du roared angrily. This kid is a complete pregnancy, and this kind of pregnancy can't be touched for many years. Ghost he knew that they met right away. Qin Yu was in a great mood listening to the two clamoring each other. I saw that he hooked his mouth, and then faintly said to himself, in these days, there is no 5-line ninjutsu where I am ashamed to say that he is a ninja. Do you know how to organize, just like you are idiots with little knowledge? What Qin Yu said was so arrogant and rampant, but Zhao Du and Fei Duan were helpless. Although there are really very few ninjas with multiple lines, they don't know how to refute it from Qin Yu, a multi-line ninja. After all, the two of them had been hanged and beaten by Qin Yu since the beginning of the battle. Whether it is the life-threatening physique used by the Hidan relying on the immortal body, or the horns, they use multiple hearts to bring multi-attribute ninjutsu bombing. No matter how the two cooperate, they will be perfectly resolved by Qin Yu in the end. What's more, Qin Yu sometimes counterattack back. Especially now, the Fei section was trapped in an underwater jail by Qin Yu. As for Zhao Du, the earth wall under his feet is also in danger, as if it would break and collapse at any time. This battle can be said to be the biggest combat setback that the undead duo has encountered since its establishment. And it can be said that there is no one. It can be said that until this moment, the two of them are still a little unbelievable. A very young kid who was able to make the two of them so disgraced, it was almost impossible to dream of. Hey, what are you doing, Zhao Du? Hurry up and save me out first. I swear, I must sacrifice this stinky kid to Lord Cthulhu. I must. The flying segment trapped in the water yelled again. However, listening to Fei Duan's cursing call for help, Zhao Du's unattractive face suddenly became more gloomy. Zhao Du stared at Qin Yu in front of him, his eyes flickering. He can see that the current situation is already terrible, and he can only break the situation on his own. As for his teammate's flying segment, I'm sorry, he really can't help with anything. However, no matter what the angle thinks, he really can't break the game with his alone power. No, this kid is too tricky, you still have to save the flying section first. Just save Fei Duan and wait for the opportunity to get this guy's blood, then. After having an idea in his mind, Zhao Du's hands began to seal again. Lei Dun pseudo-darkness. Stabbed. A strange voice sounded instantly, and a powerful lightning bolt was spit out from Zhao Du's mouth. The lightning was huge, and it was constantly compressed and closed during the flight, and finally turned into a very sharp spear to attack Qin Yu. Seeing the thunder and lightning spear that was about to hit him, Qin Yu hooked the corner of his mouth and immediately thundered all over his body. Thunder and lightning armor. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. The dazzling rumors of Lei Dun enveloped Qin Yu, protecting his body from harm. Advertisement. Stabbed. At this moment, the horns were staring at Qin Yu. More accurately, they were staring at whether their lightning spear could smash Qin Yu's defenses. Zhao Du's thunder and lightning spear carried unparalleled power, and instantly bombarded Qin Yu's thunder and lightning armor. Stabbed. The instant thunder and lightning collided with each other and resounded everywhere. Immediately, in the shocked eyes of Zhao Du, the lightning spear was continuously swallowed by the lightning armor on Qin Yu's body. In the end, the thunder and lightning spear disappeared completely, apparently completely swallowed by Qin Yu's thunder point armor. How powerful is the devouring power of the thunder armor? It was swallowed almost in the blink of an eye. Looking at the disappearing thunder and lightning spear, the horns were completely dumbfounded at this moment. Nani? Zhao Du said with a shocked face. How is this possible? My Lei Dun is pseudo-dark, it can be said that it is the strongest single attack ability under my hand, how can it be swallowed? How strong is this kid's thunder dunge strength? Nor can it be blamed that Zhao is so shocked. You know that in the original book, he used this ninjutsu trick to flee the growing pig, deer and butterfly trio in embarrassment. In the end, if Kakashi hadn't desperately deployed a thunder and lightning defense, he could barely resist this trick. But even so, Kakashi directly consumed half of the chakra. At that time, Kakashi was almost exhausted and collapsed. You know, in Naruto, Kakashi is a man proficient in thunder ninjutsu. However, he was so embarrassed that he was so embarrassed, which shows how difficult this trick is. What about Qin Yu now? For Zhao Du's move, it was directly and easily resolved. Comparing the two, how big the gap between the two is can be said at a glance. However, it wasn't just this that shocked the corners the most. It's the end of the year, let me see if I can try to write more for everyone, and more explosions. Before the words were finished, the wailing sound rang loudly. At this moment, a flying maniac voice suddenly came out underwater. Jiaodu, you and him. Do you think that I didn't die fast enough, and still use thunder to escape on the water? I don't want to save you sooner. He originally wanted to attack Qin Yu with Thunder Dance ninjutsu. Whoever thought that ninjutsu was not only swallowed, but also led into the water along the way, and used it directly on Fiden's body. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. However, Fei Duan directly roared in grief and indignation. You also want to save me quickly. What? The corners of his mouth twitched, and he explained forcibly, how do I know that this kid is so strong in Thunder Dun? In these short minutes, he has been pitted by the corners several times. Seeing the miserable look of Fei Duan in the water, the corners of Zhao Du's mouth couldn't help but twitched. This time, he was really misguided. I saw him directly towards the wailing flying section and then growled, enough. You shut up. Although he knew it was his own mistake, how could Zhao admit his mistake directly? Thank you for your support, thanks for the snail. This guy was wrapped in layers of lightning, trembling all over, and it seemed that he was about to foam at the mouth. At this time, he wanted to crawl out of the water, and then sacrifice Zhao Du to Lord Cthulhu. The author has something to say. If you think that my novel still likes it, I hope you can help me remind me more, and then the book review can help me with a 5-star praise. Chapter 139. I'm sorry Ghost Shark. Advertisement. Ha ha. Qin Yu was wrapped in thunder and lightning, and immediately said with a cold smile, Jiaodu, you too underestimate me. You know, if you are only Thunder Dungeons alone, you can't beat me no matter what. If you can get the heart of the 4th generation of Raikage, maybe you can still compete with me. If it were in normal times, perhaps with an arrogant character, then he would definitely ridicule a few words back. However, now, faced with Qin Yu's various tricks, he was silent. At this time, Jiaodu suddenly remembered what the dried persimmon ghost shark once said. That person, whether it's chakra volume, ninjutsu, illusion or physique, is absolutely top-notch. Even, he also masters the unpredictable time and space ninjutsu. Fight against him, and you will find that he is like a bottomless pit, always has a whole card. You can never see his depth. Jiaodu's mind was thinking of what the ghost shark said at the time, the corners of his mouth twitched, and then he said gloomily, damn, ghost shark really didn't lie. Isn't it good for a horseman to catch the second tail? Why is it uncomfortable to come to Konoha? This time it is too hasty. Ghost shark, sorry. At this moment, Jiaodu actually had an urge to run away directly. He really didn't want to continue fighting with this guy in front of him. You know, Jiaodu is the longest alive in the ninja world except for Ju. And the reason why he can live so long is definitely not simply because of his strength. The more reason is that Jiaodu has enough godness. Every time he found out that he had fought, he would always strike mercilessly. Even after killing the opponent, he still needs to take the opponent's heart and head. However, when he finds that he can't beat him, then he will definitely run away immediately. Because he insisted on this principle, he lived so long. It's like accepting the task of assassinating the original Naruto Senjujuma. When he found that the first generation of Naruto Senjujuma was too strong, he threw a shuriken from a distance and quickly ran away without hesitation. In the years since then, he has always maintained this good habit. And it is this habit that makes the horns become more treacherous as they are older, and the older they are, the more they can fight. As the master of Go, this product is absolutely, the leftover is king. Look at the awesome ninjas, not all of them are dead. But look at Jiaodu, he is not alive well. In today's situation, it can be said that the corners are exhausted, but it has no effect on Qin Yu. It can even be said that Qin Yu seemed to have never tried his best from beginning to end. In this case, how could the corner not have the idea of running away? This kid, what other cards can show up? However, this time, Jiaodu didn't dare to turn around and ran away just like before. But not because of the flying segment trapped in the water. From Jiaodu's point of view, Fei Duan is doing his own if he is dead or alive, as long as he can live. No matter how deadly fellow Taoists don't die in poor Dao, Zhao doesn't care. He knows the vicious rebellion, he doesn't care about his teammates. You know, the first few teammates of Jiaodu were killed by him in this way. What's more, some of them were killed directly by him. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi, but now he didn't dare to leave the flying section and just run away. Advertisement. You know, Qin Yu knows time and space ninjutsu. If he turned around and ran away, then his back would not be exposed to Qin Yu's face, and then he would probably be killed with no scum left. The green eyeballs of Jiaodu rolled around, and immediately thought of a way. The most important thing now is to rescue the flying segment, and then try again to see if you can get the blood of this kid. If you can, then just take the opportunity to kill him. If it doesn't work, then use the fly section to hold him, and I will take the opportunity to run away. Wow, Jiaodu just made up his mind when suddenly there was a sound of water. Jiaodu hurriedly took a look, and saw that Qin Yu's water escape ninjutsu big burst of water was tumbling at this time. Obviously, the suppressive effect of this ninjutsu is losing. Has the suppressive effect of ninjutsu disappeared? Zhao Du squinted his eyes and looked at the water, and muttered to guess, could it be that the Thunder Dunge chakra was introduced into the water just now, which disrupted the suppressive effect of the water dunjutsu? Wow, there was a sound of water, and an extremely embarrassed figure rushed up from the water. Fei Duan came to Zhao Du's side with a deep resentment as soon as he got away. Seeing this, the corners of his eyes rolled around, and he immediately patted Fei Duan's shoulder and said, "Oh Fei Duan, you are out. Well, I said I was saving you, I didn't lie to you. If it weren't for my Thunder Dungeons, how could you escape so quickly?" However, Fei Duan directly yelled at the corner in anger. "Zhao Du, are you stupid when you step on a horse? Is that the credit of your lay done? It's obviously time for ninjutsu. You be asterisk 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 D. You just want me to die. I really want to send you to see Lord Cthulhu now." When Fei Duan roared, he pulled out a dark spear from his clothes. The bloody March sickle of Phaeton had been damaged by Qin Yu, so it could no longer be used. Ahem. Although Zhao Du said that on the surface, it was another expression in his heart. Fei Juan pierced mercilessly, and Zhao Du suddenly coughed awkwardly. I saw Fei Duan grab the black spear in his hand and rushed towards Qin Yu yelling. He is a naive man, but not a fool, of course he knows who the biggest enemy is now. Immediately he pointed the tip of the spear to the corners. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. It is unforgivable to humiliate this uncle again and again. I must send you to see Lord Cthulhu. Mad, when has this guy's brain been so bright? It's really not easy to fool him. He never hoped that he would have more attack methods for flying segments than now. Zan even smiled awkwardly and politely and said, don't, let's kill this kid first. Moreover, this spear has a telescopic function. Seeing Fei Duan rush to Qin Yu again, Zhao sighed helplessly. But who knows, Fei Juan actually took out the jet black spear from behind again as a weapon. Humph. Fei Juan let out a cold snort. However, once the spear is extended, its length can reach 120 centimeters, which is very strange. When the spear is retracted, its length is about 20 centimeters. Chapter 140. Second Blood. Advertisement. What's he? He knows that he rushes up and stabs directly, so he can't learn some ninjutsu. Really, he's just a waste. How can such a simple attack do a good job of containment? If it is not well contained, how can I safely slip away? How can I show my back? This kind of shameless inner monologue, probably only a guy like the Horns can send it out. However, since there is no way to run for the time being, then he can only bite the bullet and attack with Fei Duan at this time. After all, you can only wait to die if you don't follow up. However, following up, there may be a chance to get Qin Yu's blood. Although Fei Juan rushed up, he was not stupid. Seeing his body move, he rushed to Qin Yu's side, and directly pierced Qin Yu's face with the pitch black spear in his hand. You know, his goal was never to stab Qin Yu to death, but to get Qin Yu's blood. As long as the enemy's blood is obtained, the flying segment has the ability to make the enemy worse than death. However, I don't know why, Fei Duan always has a strange feeling when facing Qin Yu. It was a feeling of being seen through. Although the black-clothed boy in front of him has always looked very playful, this feeling has been haunting Fei Duan's heart. Impossible. It's just the first time to fight, how could he know my attack method? Fei Duan consoled his heart, and attacked Qin Yu with a vigorous spirit. Kang. The Thunder God's sword on Qin Yu's waist was instantly unsheathed. Seeing that the Thunder God's sword was in Qin Yu's hands, he easily held up the spear's attack. Jingle bells. The sound of gold and iron strikes is endless. At this time, the flying segment was not defending at all, just launched an attack recklessly, vowing to take Qin Yu's blood. His hatred for Qin Yu has covered everything. Unfortunately, anger does not really improve a person's strength. After the weapon changed, the situation did not change in the slightest, and Qin Yu was still abused by Qin Yu in close combat. If it hadn't been for the Horns to use all kinds of ninjutsu on the periphery, even if the Fei Duan was an immortal body, he would have been tortured to death a long time ago. In an instant, Qin Yu held the Thunder God's sword not with several strokes, and directly forced the flying section into danger. Seeing this scene, the Horns gritted their teeth, and immediately sprinted to rescue. Suddenly, a flash of cold light flashed, and immediately flew straight at the corner. Hanmang's strength and accuracy are very precise. After a while, Zhao was taken aback, and then he reacted. No matter how much he is a veteran movie-level powerhouse, how rich his judgment and experience are, and he quickly judged it in an instant. This is a misfortune. Humph. Zhao Du sneered, and immediately said, Qin Yu. Do you want to do anything with this old man? You look down on me too much. Puff. I saw that he didn't even hide, and a few grievances popped up directly in front of him. The defensive power and strength of the grievances were amazing, and he flew this kunwu hit into the corner in an instant. When the Horns saw Qin Yu shooting this kunai, a contempt of contempt rose in his heart. Because in his opinion, Qin Yu, a powerful person like this, had come for a sneak attack with Kuwu, that must have been a bit urgent. This kid seems to be in a hurry. It is estimated that chakra is not enough. After all, he is a kid. It seems that the previous ninjutsu has consumed him a lot. Now as long as you insist on it for a while, you can definitely take it. Zhaodu's inner monologue hadn't been completely finished, so he couldn't say it anymore. Because he only felt that a black shadow flashed in front of him, and a sharp pain suddenly came from his chest. Kang. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. At the same time, there was a sudden sound of retracting the sword into its sheath. Advertisement. Time seems to have stopped at this moment. No one could see Qin Yu's movements clearly, it just seemed to take the sword into its sheath in an instant. However, if there is a careful person, you can find that Qin Yu's sword body of the Thunder God's sword was faintly drawn out at this time. In the next second, Qin Yu's hand holding the hilt of the Thunder God's sword pushed hard. Click. With a crisp sound, the Thor's sword was completely contained in the scabbard. At the end of the sound, countless blood suddenly burst out of Zhaodu's chest. After that, behind Zhaodu, a strange object composed entirely of unidentified black objects appeared. The strange object was faintly with the fragments of the shattered mask. Qin Yu actually shattered a heart of Zhaodu in an instant. The intense pain caused Zhaodu's pupils to shrink suddenly. He hurriedly lowered his head and saw that the heart in his body broke again. As for Qin Yu's original location, a figure slowly dissipated. Afterimage. Zhaodu murmured, his eyes full of disbelief. At this time, his face immediately became paler. In just a short period of time, both hearts have been destroyed, which obviously has a great impact on both angles. The Fei Duan on the side was also full of shock at this time. He, the bystander, did not see what was happening at this time. I just felt that after Qin Yu knocked him back, his figure disappeared instantly. In the next second, the horns lost another heart. What they didn't expect was that the trick Qin Yu used just now was exactly a trick in the time and space ninjutsu, Flying Thunder God Slash. And this ninjutsu was created by Konoha's second-generation Naruto Senjuma. Qin Yu threw a special kunai engraved with the mark of Flying Thunder God. If Zhaodu had reacted a little bit slower before, Qin Yu would teleport directly in front of him, and then attack like a sword. However, although Zhaodu reacted fast enough, it would fly without a bullet. However, Qin Yu was still teleported to a blind spot. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. The speed of this ninjutsu is so fast that even the corners can't help it. He didn't lose his mind at all because his horns were abolished by another heart. At this moment, Qin Yu's eyes turned, Zan even noticed something. And Zhaodu is worthy of being a veteran movie level. After a period of thinking, he finally reacted a little. Qin Yu, I finally got my chance this time. Ha ha ha. Immediately, he threw Fei Lei Shen Ku Wu Meng into the distance. After that, he sprinted with the momentum of thunder and pierced his body with a blow from the Thunder God's sword. This time, he was calm and scary. At the same time, a crazy laugh suddenly came. Fei Duan was laughing madly at this time. After all, it is no secret in Xiao organization that Qin Yu has mastered time and space techniques. And at one end of the rope, it was tied to the Bloody March sickle, and the other side was held in Fei Duan's hand. That was lying on the Bloody March sickle not far from him. At this moment a rope appeared again. I saw him manipulating the ground and carefully, grabbing, the Flying Thunder God Kuwu in the corner. At this moment, he never dared to let this thing appear within 100 meters of him. Chapter 141, 3 Blood. Advertisement. Whoosh. The Bloody March sickle swiftly left the ground and volleyed, and attacked Qin Yu with lightning speed. Qin Yu immediately stopped with a sword. Who would have thought that the corner behind him also had a chance at this time? In an instant, countless black lines appeared on Zhaodu's body. The black line furiously attacked Qin Yu, restricting part of his attention. Qin Yu raised his eyebrows and had to use instantaneous technique to dodge. However, the unfavorable instantaneous technique for a long time, this time there was an accident. Although it seemed that he had avoided Fei Duan's flying sickle attack, Qin Yu faintly felt a slight tingling in his cheeks. Reaching out his hand and touching his cheek, Qin Yu's pupils suddenly shrank. Because he has bleeding on his cheeks. Qin Yu's face was full of fear at this time. Although it was on the surface, but my heart was extremely calm. Even at this moment, he still wants to laugh a little. At this moment, seeing Qin Yu bleeding, Fei Duan immediately pulled the Bloody March sickle and held it in his hand with force. Fei Duan was holding the Bloody March sickle in his hand as if looking at a treasure. Fei Juan gently rubbed his fingers, rubbing the blood on the sickle. All the corners in the distance saw this scene, and they were also determined. In his mind, the thought of running away was completely forgotten by him at this moment. After all, in everyone's eyes, as long as the flying segment gets blood, it is already equated with death. Especially Zhaodu, who has been with the Fei Duan partner for so long, has never seen him fail after obtaining enemy blood. You know, that's a 100% lore. At this time, the Fei Duan, holding the Bloody March sickle with a grim face, released it with a big laugh. Qin Yu, no matter how strong your strength is, it won't be stronger than the curse of Lord Cthulhu. Enlightenment. Prepare to sacrifice to Lord Cthulhu. Fei Duan was a little sick, licked the blood-stained finger, and looked very enjoyable. In fact, every time you lick the enemy's blood, it is indeed the most enjoyable time for the flying section. Because this is the prelude to the Cthulhu ritual. At this time, Fei Juan began to draw the curse symbol of Cthulhu on the ground with his feet. First, I drew a circle, and then added an equilateral triangle in the middle of the circle. It was very strange. In an instant, Fei Duan's skin became extremely dark, and even the appearance of the dense white bones could be seen. The curse spells death by blood. Fei Duan's original appearance is quite handsome, although he is not handsome, but he has the temperament of a mature man. In addition, the silver-gray hair was combed to the back of his head and turned into a god of gambling back, and it also added a bit of evil temperament. It can be said that if this product lived on the blue star of Qin Yu's previous life. So it can be said that the role of god of gamblers is none other than him. However, when he used Cthulhu's curse, this guy's appearance changed drastically. Not only has it become extraordinarily horrible, but it also gives people a shuddering and gloomy feeling. Ha 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 ha. Fei Duan laughed wildly, and even raised his waist because of the exaggerated laugh. His face was even more towards the sky. This posture made Fei Duan a little bit self-respecting. Qin Yu, no matter how awesome you are, this time, it's your turn to finish. I must let you know that no one can escape the curse of Lord Cthulhu. Not even you. Read more at hotmtl novel.zi whoosh. Advertisement. I saw him use an instantaneous technique fiercely, and the figure disappeared instantly. When he appeared again, he had already come to Fei Duan's body. Qin Yu's Thunder God sword with its scabbard is a horizontal shot. He wants to shoot the flying segment in the circle of strange blood. Zhao Du has been partnering with Fei Duan for a while, knowing that Fei Duan cannot cast a curse as long as he leaves that circle. Therefore, at this critical moment, Zhao Du immediately activated the black line all over his body, desperately blocking Qin Yu's movements. When Qin Yu's Thunder God sword hit Zhao Du's grievance, a huge force came, and the corner felt that his internal organs had shifted a bit. You must know that Qin Yu at this time would definitely not use ordinary attacks. Although it's just a horizontal shot, the power is amazing. However, even so, he was still prevented by Zhao Du's grievances. This shows how strong Zhao Du's defense is. Although Zhao Du's defense resisted Qin Yu's attack, it was not easy at all. Puff. You must know that this guy has been destroyed by Qin Yu 2 hearts one after another, which is equivalent to 2 lives. But now he helped Fei Duan withstand such a powerful attack, and finally couldn't help but vomit blood. Zhao Du vomited blood in order to help Fei Duan withstand this blow, but he didn't do anything when he saw Fei Duan, and was furious at the moment. Fei Duan, you still don't do it. What the hell are you doing? This kid is extraordinary. You are so careless. If you want to die, I won't die with you. Zhao Du is really going to be mad. He is desperate here. Fei Duan is not worried at all. Now he can't wait to open Fei Duan's mind to see what stuff is inside. Although Zhao Du was very angry and anxious, Fei Duan was not in a hurry at all. I saw Fei Duan indifferently waved his hand at the corner, and yelled while smiling. Don't worry, Zhao Du, if I get the blood, he will die. Unexpectedly, you, Zhao Du, would be afraid of a kid. What you said is different. Didn't you say that you played against the original Hokage? Then you are afraid of a kid. You king. Seeing Fei Duan in no hurry, the horns were about to scold, but his pupils shrank suddenly. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. And this is one of his methods to press the bottom of the box. At this time, the corners are all autistic. After all, the current Fei segment had already blocked Qin Yu's life gate. At this time, of course, he is not purely self-harm. At this moment, he directly blasted a heart in his body. Seeing that this nasty enemy was about to be killed, the horn had no reason to give up. It's even worth fighting for. The opponent is so tyrannical, why do I have such an unreliable teammate? Thinking of this, I looked at Qin Yu who had already rushed to Fei Duan. The horns gritted his teeth and did an unbelievable operation. Instead, he uses the heart in his body to burst, thereby enhancing his strength. Because, Qin Yu has already reached Fei Duan's side once again. By actively blasting his heart and losing his life, he can gain power beyond his own limit in a short time. At this moment, Zhao Du even had the idea of running away again. Of course, this method is generally never used. However, this idea only appeared for an instant, and then he was forcibly suppressed. Because the self-defeating one's life is not in line with his cautious character. Although Zhao Du is said to be, go, he is not stupid. Chapter 142, one of the pits I would like to call you the strongest. Advertisement. And this time, the reason why he dared to do so. First of all, because he still has 3 hearts, even if he explodes one, he still has 2 lives, so he is not to panic. If he had only 1 heart left, even 2 hearts, he would definitely not do it. After all, he can't do things like desperation. As for the second, because he knows very well that as long as he keeps the flying section in the pattern for a few seconds, Qin Yu is bound to be killed. After bursting a heart in an instant, Zhao Du's grievance finally kept up with Qin Yu's speed. The original incomparable blackness of resentment has now become a strange and evil luster, that is the luster of blood. The strength of using the blasting heart to grow is really related to the essence and blood. All the essence and blood in the human body will pass through the heart, so the heart can be said to be a place where a person stores the essence of the body. In an instant, the power gained from blasting the heart made the speed of Du keep up with Qin Yu's moving speed. Zhao Du once again launched a powerful block. When there was another crisp sound. Zhao did not hesitate to use the tactics of blasting the heart to defend, so Qin Yu did not succeed in this attack. Although Qin Yu was blocked again, the corners were not easy either. Seeing that Fei Duan hadn't shot yet, he suddenly yelled to the sky with anger, *hole. Give me a shot. If you don't do anything, I will do it myself. Zhao Du was indeed mad at this time. He blew himself up and lost his life, but his teammates are still so unreliable, how to prevent him from getting angry? Therefore, under the anger, the corner decided not to wait for Fei Duan, he wanted to do it himself. Anyway, the main use of the flying segment is to provide a connecting medium to share damage between itself and the enemy. As for who caused the damage, it doesn't matter at all. Thinking of this, the corner immediately opened his back. A large area of resentment sprang up from his back in an instant, and immediately condensed into a black spear. The black spear stabbed at Fei Duan's heart desperately at an extremely fast speed. The spear swiftly pierced Feiden's heart in the blink of an eye. By Zhaodu, UB ******************. Fei Juan's pupils shrank sharply, and immediately yelled dissatisfied with the angle. However, after the voice fell, his face showed a hideous look again, as if it was really painful. Only those who really understand Fei Duan will know that it is not pain, but the expression of Fei Duan's enjoyment. Qin Yu, accept the trial. After Fei Duan yelled in enjoyment, his eyes fixed on Qin Yu in front of him. He hoped to see an expression of pain and fear on Qin Yu's face. However, he was destined to be disappointed. Not only was there no pain and fear on Qin Yu's face, there was a trace of joking instead. Qin Yu sneered and said, haha. You were fooled by the flying section. Puff. Before Qin Yu's words were over, Fei Duan was surprised to find that the teammates around him suddenly spewed a mouthful of blood. In the next second, a strange object was separated from Zhaodu's body again. There was a fiery red mask on the strange object. What is shocking is that the center of the mask is actually penetrated. And the way of penetration is almost the same as the attack that just pierced the Fei Duan's heart. In other words, the evil god curse just now did not fall on Qin Yu's body, but on Zhaodu's body. Stupid. What's the matter? Zhaodu was destroyed with a heart again, and the whole person fell into madness. As for the flying section, he was also dumbfounded at this time. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. This guy was enjoying the excitement before the ceremony, but he was pricked in the heart by the horns. Advertisement. This made him a little angry, and felt that his sense of ritual was destroyed. But then, he started to enjoy it again. Because he felt that his greatest enemy, Qin Yu, was finally going to be killed. As a result, Qin Yu did nothing but his companions lost another life. This completely stunned the flying segment, which was already lacking a string in his mind. What's the situation? Is there something wrong with the ceremony? Impossible. It is absolutely impossible. How could the great ceremony of offering sacrifices to the evil gods go wrong? At this moment, as the host of the Cthulhu ritual, Fei Duan was even stunned. And many more. Suddenly, Fei Juan seemed to have thought of something, and immediately looked at Zhao Du with a serious look. I know, Zhao Du. You must have always used the sacrifices that should be offered to Lord Cthulhu in exchange for money. So this time, Lord Cthulhu got angry, he will impose the punishment on you. Yes, it must be like this. The more I think about it at this time, the more I feel reasonable. As the opponent Qin Yu heard the words, the corners of his mouth couldn't help but he said in his heart, Fei Duan, on one of the pits, I would like to call you the strongest. FKU. Zhao Du lost a heart again, and he was very angry. Seeing Fei Duan in Hu Lily now again, of course it won't give him a good face. It must be like this. That's right. However, Fei Juan is very firm about this, he thinks what he said is right. I've been telling you all the time, you can't do that. Look, Master Cthulhu is unhappy now. Shut up your mouth. Zhao Du furiously said. Seeing Qin Yu's playful expression on the side, Zhao Du's pupils shrank suddenly. Immediately, he suddenly reacted. That's my blood. Damn Qin Yu, have you already known his weakness? Zhao Du yelled, and then immediately shouted at Fei Duan, hurry up and lift the curse. Otherwise, not only I will die, even you will die too. Nani? Fei Duan was still a little dazed, and immediately asked, your blood. How is this possible? The blood was clearly obtained by me cutting his face. You were riding a horse. Zhao suddenly became angry, completely helpless to Fei Duan, the pig teammate. But in order to save his life, he still shouted at this moment, get out of that pattern. This time, Fei Juan suddenly understood everything. He observed that Qin Yu's sword was still stained with blood. At this moment, Fei Duan wanted to understand everything, and immediately retreated. However, it was too late. Qin Yu's Thunder God sword fell directly on Fei Duan's shoulder, and it was instantly cut down. The flying section was so weak in close combat, how could it be Qin Yu's opponent? The arm holding the jet black spear was cut off by Qin Yu's Thunder God sword. At the same time, Zhao Du's right arm also fell instantly. Nani? Zhao Du's pupils shrank suddenly. Qin Yu's sword came too fast, there was no time to react at all. When the reaction came over, the arm had fallen off. Chapter 143, Harao. Advertisement. Although an arm was removed, I was taken aback. But after that, there was a trace of fortune in Zhao Du's heart. Fortunately, Qin Yu had taken off his arm. Otherwise, he would be dead again. You know, before I played against Qin Yu, I had 5 hearts. The first heart was smashed by Qin Yu with a Qiandiao sharp spear. After that, his second heart was smashed into pieces by Qin Yu's flying thunder god. Next, in order to cover the face segment, he sacrificed another heart and burst it into pieces, and the third heart was gone. After that, Qin Yu was designed by Qin Yu, and then cursed by Fei Duan. He made another heart, and the fourth heart was gone. In other words, the corner capital of the original 5 lives has only 1 life left at this moment. This is simply unacceptable to Zhao Du, who has been cautious and often, gossing, to survive. Only the corner of the heart is left, and the feeling of anxiety is full at this time. He felt that he would die at any time, and he was very upset. But at this moment, without waiting for him to think any more, Qin Yu had already launched another attack. I saw Qin Yu holding the Thunder God's sword, and immediately launched a move of Chidori. Thunder Dun Ninjutsu Chidori came swiftly, and hit Feiden's chest in the blink of an eye. Although this blow did not hit the heart, Lei Dun had a paralyzing effect. Hole. Damn Lei Dun again. In an instant, Fei Duan's expression became savage, and his whole body was convulsed. The horns not far away were also injured in the same way, and their body was trembling. Seeing this, Qin Yu sneered directly. He knew very well that the 4 hearts had been destroyed by the horns. As long as he came again, the horns would die. Therefore, Qin Yu was about to attack Fei Duan's heart once again. Qin Yu strived to solve the Jiaodu directly once and for all in this way. At this time, the small universe burst that Jiaodu had blew his heart before was not over. Especially, this guy took his life too hard. At the juncture of life and death, he actually resisted the paralyzing effect of Lei Dun abruptly. The horns rushed in front of Qin Yu, and instantly hit Fei Duan with the grievances that had originally blocked Qin Yu's attack. The power of the grievances is already extremely strong, and this is a blow that the corners of the world are sublimating at the moment of life and death. In an instant, Fei Duan's small body was knocked out, leaving the circle cursed by the evil god. Call. Seeing that Fei Duan finally rolled out of the hateful curse circle, Zhao was greatly relieved. In this way, even if Qin Yu attacks the flying section again, the horns will not be attacked. And this is the easiest way to destroy the Cthulhu ritual. For the time being, Zhao Du was no longer worried about his life, and the question in his mind popped out again. Qin Yu, you be ******************. How did you do it? How could you collect my blood and get it in the hands of this idiot Fei Duan? Zhao Du had already lost 4 hearts at this time, shouting with pain on his face. Seeing this, Qin Yu responded indifferently. That's because I have seen through your tactics a long time ago. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. So early in the morning, I have worked out the best combat plan for you. Advertisement. The method used by Qin Yu is exactly the one that Shikamaru, known as the Konoha think tank, in the original book came up with. Recalling the plot in the original work, Qin Yu suddenly found that the combination of Zhao Du and Fei Duan was really interesting. Flying section's attack power is not strong, the combat power is also very hip, but it cannot let him get the blood of the enemy. Although Zhao Du's attack power was tyrannical and had a lot of means, when he met Qin Yu, he was only deflated. It can be said that although Kakuto has 5 elements of ninjutsu. However, there is no ninjutsu that can give him the upper hand. Therefore, he had never thought of defeating Qin Yu with his own attacks, but only wanted to kill Qin Yu with the strange tricks of Fei Duan. Therefore, he will do everything possible to rescue the flying section and cooperate with the flying section. The purpose of this was nothing more than to help Fei Duan obtain Qin Yu's blood. In this way, that kind of weird ceremony can be held later. And Qin Yu also took advantage of this idea of them, and was able to perform the plan perfectly. When Qin Yu was using the Thunder God slash before, no one noticed that the blood in the body of Zhao Du was already on his Thunder God sword. Especially after destroying the heart of Zhao Du, he retracted the sword and sheathed it, even more to conceal the fact that he collected Zhao Du's blood. You must know how detailed Qin Yu's observational power is, and how keenly his perception is. There is still a rope tied to Feiden's bloody March sickle, which he found from the beginning. At the moment when the bloody March sickle was controlled by the flying section, Qin Yu's instantaneous technique completely avoided that blow. However, he himself quickly stroked his cheek with his hand. After that, while the Thunder God's sword was blocking the bloody March sickle, he rubbed the blood stains of Zhao Du onto the bloody March sickle. After Qin Yu's operation was like running clouds and flowing water, he successfully made Fei Duan mistakenly believe that what he collected was Qin Yu's blood. Of course, this mistake can't be completely blamed on Fei Duan. After all, Qin Yu's operations weren't just that he didn't notice, but even the veteran movie-level powerhouse who was a teammate didn't even notice. The next thing is simple. Fei Duan thought that he had obtained Qin Yu's blood, and then began to perform the Cthulhu rituals beautifully. And then, a more dramatic scene happened. That was the blow that hit Fei Duan's heart. It turned out to be a teammate, Zhao Du, because he couldn't wait to poke it up by himself. In other words, Zhao Du's heart burst for himself. It makes sense to say that the flight segments and angles are all woven together. The two are the same as immortals, and there are too many similarities. And of the two people, one is responsible for managing the finances of the Akatsuki organization, while the other is interested in killing the strong. Since the two were assigned together, apart from a bit of disagreement over whether the head was sacrificed to the Lord Cthulhu or exchanged for money, there has been no excessive conflict at all. It can even be said that the cooperation between the two is very pleasant. However, this time, because Qin Yu had adopted this wind-scraping tactic of hitting the enemy, he suddenly made Zhao Du feel that the combination with the flying section was simply too bad. Once his blood is obtained by the enemy, and strategize it. Then you can use Feijuan's Cthulhu ritual to kill me as a teammate. For the Zhao who has been going to the end, the threat far exceeds his benefits. After all, this is a careless one and lose one's life. Even if he has 5 lives in the corner, that is not enough to play. At this time, there was no time for Zhao to hesitate anymore. Chapter 144, Qin Yu's Plan. Advertisement. At this time, after hitting the flying section out of the cursed circle, Zhao Du directly took all the grievances back. As for how the Fei Duan will be ravaged by Qin Yu after the withdrawal, it's the Fei Duan's business, what do I do? This is completely out of his consideration. After grievance Yu was taken back by Zhao Du, he picked up the arm that had been removed just now. Immediately, Zhao Du directly controlled his grievances without anyone else, and took his arms and shoulders together. The grievances are like needlework at this time, while the arms and shoulders are like cloth, perfectly spliced together under the operation of the corner. When the arms and shoulders are connected, the horns are not slack in the slightest. It can be said that the horns after connecting the arms are more tense at this time. Besides, although he connected his arm, it was not to reinvigorate and continue to fight Qin Yu. Instead, it is to enable oneself to maintain a stronger ability, so as to better protect oneself. Although the horns looked painful at this time, they were extremely calm in their hearts. Ghostfish is right, this fellow Qin Yu is really terrible. Not only is the strength terrifying, but even the brain is exceptionally terrifying. If you don't pay attention, you will get rid of it. After the fight just now, Zhao realized that the more he fought with Qin Yu, the more terrifying he felt Qin Yu. The kind of terrible that you can never touch the bottom line, never know what is true or false. Although the scorpion of the red sand may have provided him with a part of the information, but through this part of the information, coupled with a simple contact, I and Feijuan can figure it out. For this reason, we have set up such a terrible and thorough plan based on our weaknesses. How terrible Qin Yu's mind is. This person is definitely a huge enemy of the organization. At this moment, Zhao Du was shaking violently in his heart. And while Zhao Du's heart was shaking, Qin Yu's figure disappeared instantly. I saw him using the instantaneous technique, and suddenly came to Feijuan's side. You must know that Zhao Du is a veteran movie-level powerhouse no matter what, if he has used all his methods, Qin Yu would not believe it. Since crossing over, Qin Yu has discovered one thing. That is, although I have read the original work, I also know some things in the original work. But these things cannot be completely believed. And this point has already been realized just now. You must know that just now, Zhao used a trick to explode his heart to improve his strength, and this trick was not mentioned at all in the original work. However, he used it when it was not mentioned in the original book. Maybe it was in the original work that he didn't have a chance to use it, but he had a chance just now, so he used it. And just because Zhao had used this trick, if he thought that he had no other means, then it would be really wrong. Qin Yu had a faint feeling that even his horns should have a backhand. At the very least, there should be another move that can die with the enemy. So at this time, if you want to kill Zhao Du forcibly, you are forcing Zhao Du to burn with his own jade. As a clever man, Qin Yu knew how to choose this kind of choice without even thinking about it. If you wait for the angle to regain a little confidence and then kill him, then it will be different. This is the case with human nature, as long as there is a little hope, then you don't want to die. Because death is the most terrifying thing. Especially the old movie-level powerhouses like Zhao Du, and the old guys who have lived for so many years. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi, such people live, nothing more than greed for fame and wealth. Advertisement. And Qin Yu just took a fancy to Zhao Du's personal weakness, so he skipped him and attacked Fei Duan. Fei Duan possesses an absolutely immortal body, it is really impossible to kill him in a short time. However, if it is necessary to remove his limbs, he can still be severely injured. With this idea, Qin Yu came to Fei Duan's side with a few flashes. In Qin Yu's view, Fei Duan's physical skills were not influential. Coupled with the fact that I lost an arm and no horns to help, it is just as weak as a chicken. At this time, Qin Yu was like an adult, bullying an unarmed child. Originally, this kid had a big killer, but because of his mistake just now, he didn't dare to attack him with a knife anymore. Because Fei Duan was completely unable to determine whether the blood he collected was Qin Yu's or Zhao Du's. If you use it rashly, it is very likely that Qin Yu's way will be followed again, and his companion will be killed by mistake. The flying section at this time has been thoroughly understood. That is, I can't beat Qin Yu by myself, even if I want to escape, I still need Zhao Du's help. If he kills the horns by mistake, he will definitely not survive. Under such concerns, Feijuan was completely passive. Qin Yu finally used his physical attacks to cut off the remaining 3 limbs of Fei Duan. And using the powerful thunder ninjutsu, Hida was in a state of shock. At this time, Zhao Du had also recovered a bit of strength. Haha, Qin Yu sneered at the corner. Don't think you can fight me if you recover a little bit of strength. You were not my opponent in the heyday, and now you are not even my opponent. What you have to consider now is how to escape under my hands. Now that may die at any time, and he can no longer think about the success rate. The third is because he had more hearts at that time, and he hadn't come to desperately yet. But now the situation is completely different. In his opinion, he is running away right now, but he might die. But if you continue to stay, you will definitely die. Moreover, the horns at this time were all originally 5 hearts, and only 1 heart remained at this time. In fact, he had been thinking about bugging long before. So at this time, the horns must take a gamble. Fiden's curse was completely a joke, not only failed to hurt the enemy, but also hurt his teammates. After adding Zhao Du, he only has a heart left, and his strength is not up to the shadow level. Zhao couldn't imagine how to defeat Qin Yu with the current situation. The two of them now are really weaker than the other. Only at that time, firstly, because of the curse technique of Fei Duan, I dreamed of killing Qin Yu. The second is because the distance between the two is too close, and the flying section's containment ability is not strong, so he is afraid that he will not be able to escape successfully. When Zhao Du saw that Qin Yu had not attacked him, but had attacked the flying section, he suddenly thought of running away. Without the magical curse technique in Fei Duan, it is estimated that it is not as good as the Supreme Forbearance. Chapter 145. Sao Operation of Flying Section. Advertisement. Seeing that Qin Yu began to launch a new round of combos, his feet suddenly exploded with great speed and fled directly in the opposite direction of the flying section. With Qin Yu's powerful close-in skills, Fei Duan was beaten so miserably, he didn't know how much blood he vomited. He was still waiting for Zhao Du's assistance, but he didn't know that he waited, but he didn't see assistance. He was so angry that he suddenly yelled, "Mad! Zhao Du, you're on a horse, just watch the excitement by the side." "You did, wait, where's the people?" FK. Fei Duan yelled for a long time and no one responded. I saw him looking up, suddenly looking dumbfounded. The corner of his teammates was gone, and they were missing at this time. Sweeping his eyes far away, I saw that the corner had already slipped 100 meters away. FK. UB ******** D. Fei Duan yelled out of anger. However, no matter how he scolded, Zhao Du's feet didn't even pause. Instead, because of this, he slipped faster. Seeing that the corner had really slipped, Qin Yu also stopped his attack on Fei Duan. In this battle, he had long planned to kill the two together, and he would never let one go. Humph. Qin Yu sneered, "Want to run? How easy is it?" I saw him put his hands together quickly, and a shadow clone came out. He was going to send a shadow clone to continue to entangle the Fei Duan, and then the main body to chase Zhao Du. For Qin Yu, Fei Duan is just a simple method, so there is no need to be too careful, just sending a shadow clone is enough. On the contrary, it was the old monster Zhao Du who was afraid of death. However, when his body was about to leave, whoever wanted to fly section suddenly performed an operation that shocked everyone. I saw Fei Duan, suddenly an instantaneous technique, and then disappeared in place. When the flying segment appeared again, it did not appear far away from the battlefield, but instead appeared in the cursed circle. At this time, Zhao Du was running away with all his strength without looking back. As for the rant before the flying section, he didn't take it seriously at all. Since he didn't take it to heart, how could he turn his head back? You know, Zhao Du has lived well for so many years, and it all depends on the word, go. So in any case, the issue of life is always the first place, and everything else depends on standing alone. As for the flying section, it is just his partner. Do you know how few partners he has changed over the years? Can you expect him to turn his head back? That is impossible. When Zhao Du ran away, he not only didn't turn his head, but also angrily cursed Fei Duan. Damn, Fei Duan, this B************ D, can't be abused well, what's the comparison? I should have been discovered later, but now it's fine, I will be discovered early. To say that the corner is a good hand for running. As for the timing of the run, it was quite good, it was when Qin Yu launched the combo. If it hadn't been for Fei Duan to warn him, he would have to wait for Qin Yu's combo to run out before discovering that he had run away. And if he waited until that time, he would have run away long ago. Of course, this is just his wishful thinking. This time this battle is really a loss. Not only did Fei Duan, the spicy chicken teammate, be folded in, even the tail beast capture mission was completely delayed. After returning to the organization, the leader will definitely not spare me. And the most important thing is that I also lost 4 hearts, you know that are 4 lives. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Although it is not difficult to collect hearts, it is really difficult to have 4 hearts with such excellent attribute changes. Advertisement. This trip is really his blood loss. I knew it would be like this, why don't we listen to the leader to catch the tail beast? There are also ghost sharks, people have reminded me that, why should I come to Konoha to die? If it weren't for the fact that this guy in Fei Duan is absolutely immortal, if I can delay a little bit, I guess I will really be here. At this moment, in addition to the bitterness in Zhao Du, there was only deep regret in his heart. I regretted why I came to Konoha, and regretted why I had trouble with Qin Yu. If I didn't come to Konoha or trouble Qin Yu, would I still use it? However, the ninja world did not regret selling medicine. Zhao Du was originally a fan of money, and his favorite thing is to care about profits and losses. From Zhao Du's point of view this time, it was a veritable blood loss. However, what Zhao Du didn't dream of was that his blood loss hadn't ended yet. Just as Zhao Du desperately ran away, the sound of Fei Duan suddenly came from behind him. Jiaodu, you be asterisk 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 D, give me a look back. Who? In response, Jiaodu directly sipped. I'm looking back, I'm looking back. If I look back, I'm probably really playing ball, I'll look back. Fei Duan, you are just a pit-coming teammate, if it weren't for you, would I use it like this? After Feiden stood in the cursed circle and yelled loudly, he found that even the horns were not birds. Suddenly, Feiden became furious. I saw him continue to yell at the corner. B asterisk 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 D, corner. I have already stood back in the circle, if you don't come back, I will kill you. Who? Hearing this, the corner who was running couldn't help but slap again. Are you a liar? You have a brain disease. Besides, that kid attacked so fiercely, I'll go back and find death. Jiaodu still runs as usual, and there is no sign of turning his head back. According to Jiaodu's guess, Qin Yu would definitely abuse Fei Duan so that his mother didn't even know him. How could it be said that he would go back when he wanted to circle? However, if you follow normal thinking, it makes sense for Jiaodu to guess this way. If it were to switch to a normal opponent, Jiaodu's guess would be quite reasonable. However, is Qin Yu an ordinary opponent? Jiao didn't know at all. Qin Yu was standing aside at this moment, watching with interest. FK. The flying section standing alone in the circle was completely stunned this time. His idea was quite good, using the Cthulhu ritual to threaten Jiaodu and let him come back to confront the enemy with him. However, as a result, it turned out that the horns are not even birds, and it can even be said that they don't even look back. This is so embarrassing. At this moment, Fei Duan is like a beam-jumping clown, performing alone, and as an audience, there is only Qin Yu as the opponent. At this moment, Fei Duan only felt that he himself had been abandoned by the whole world. After flying for a while, he was so angry that he gritted his teeth and cursed. Made. Seeing that there is no nostalgia, and the corner is just trying to run away. At this moment, Fei Duan didn't hesitate, and directly raised his telescopic spear. Immediately, the tip of the spear pointed straight at his heart. Chapter 146. The corner capital was killed by teammates. Advertisement. At this time, Qin Yu on the side looked at Fei Duan with high interest. He really wanted to know how the flying section would operate. If it's just a simple gesture, it's basically useless for birds, because the horns won't look back at all, so he can't see it at all. Puff. However, at the next moment, Fei Duan bit his teeth, and the sharp spear in his hand plunged into the body immediately. In an instant, the black spear pierced his chest. In an instant, bright red blood began to flow out of his chest. At this moment, Jiaodu, 300 meters away, suddenly felt a sharp pain in his chest. Immediately, he lowered his head to see that blood was surging in the development chest. FK. This sudden injury made the horn all be shocked in an instant. He was so scared that he hurriedly stopped, then turned and looked back. In an instant, Jiaodu felt painful to discover that Fei Duan had actually returned to the cursed circle. And he was holding the black spear, piercing it in his chest. At this moment, the horns seemed to be struck by thunder, and he cursed Qin Yu madly in his heart. FK. This Qin Yu is too wasteful. Fei Duan can make him come and go freely. At this time, Jiaodu thought it was Qin Yu's carelessness, and this caused Fei Duan to return to the cursed circle. However, he knew that Qin Yu did this on purpose. At this moment, the Fei Duan who had been following Jiaodu saw that he finally turned his head, and suddenly he was angry and cursed. B asterisk 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 D corner, you run. Why don't you run? You keep running. Quote. Jiaodu's face was embarrassed besides embarrassment at this time. But to no avail, Zhao Ming was in the hands of the Fei Duan, so he could only accept the threat of Fei Duan while loudly exhorting, Fei Duan, calm down. Calm down. I'm riding a horse to calm down and fart calmly. When I think of the corner, I get angry, and Fei Duan immediately cursed again. You be asterisk 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 D, didn't you slip fast? Have you already calculated it, ready to use me to procrastinate for you? The more Fei Duan scolded, the more excited he became, and the black spear in his hand was even more deeply inserted. Puff. The corner was hit hard again, and a mouthful of blood spurted out. However, at this time, he has completely ignored these. I saw Jiaodu hurriedly explained. Misunderstanding, this is really a misunderstanding. Bah, I misunderstood a fart. Fei Duan took a sip and immediately threatened. Don't hurry back to Laozi, do you really want me to kill you directly? Good. Although the 18th generations of Fei Duan's ancestors greeted them in their hearts, the Mingmen was pinched in their hands, and the horns did not dare to hesitate at all, and hurriedly responded. After speaking, he immediately rushed towards the battlefield. Fei Duan, B asterisk 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 D. Jiaodu ran back and cursed himself. Because in his opinion, there is a high probability that he will die when he goes back. However, the situation is now obvious. If he doesn't go back, he will die immediately. Because he knows exactly how good his teammate is. That's a rammer. If I really dare not come back, he will definitely dare to kill. No, I have to let him put down the spear in his hand first. In case he accidentally shivered, he is immortal and nothing wrong, I will be a tragedy. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. At this moment, all kinds of thoughts turned in Jiaodu's mind. Advertisement. After making up his mind, Jiaodu hurriedly yelled at Fei Duan, I'm back. You quickly put down the spear in your hand. Fart. Hearing this, Fei Duan directly shouted in dissatisfaction. Are you dreaming? I let it go. What if you don't come back? Quote question mark question mark question mark quote. In an instant, Zhao Du's heart collapsed. You were riding a horse. You were teasing Lao Su. This is the truest portrayal of Zhao Du at this time. However, he just dared to complain in his heart. He could swear at Fei Duan before, but now that Xiaoming is held in his hands, he dare not offend him at all. In desperation, the corner had no choice but to suppress the anger, and immediately explained it in a persuasive manner. You put it down first. Anyway, if you are in the circle, if I turn around and run, you can start at any time. If you keep holding it like this, wouldn't it be embarrassing if you accidentally hurt it? That's right. Feijuan Hanhan nodded and said. Then you be asterisk 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 D, don't play any tricks for me. With that said, Fei Duan was about to pull out the spear inserted in his chest. As a result, before he was completely pulled out, things suddenly changed. I saw Qin Yu, who had been watching the excitement next to him, but his figure suddenly disappeared at this moment. Not good. Although it was a few hundred meters away, Zhao Du realized that something was wrong in an instant, and his face changed drastically. But the face section at this time was still the same as a naive one. Before, he focused all his attention on Zhao Du, so he basically ignored Qin Yu. Therefore, at this moment Qin Yu suddenly disappeared in place, and he was still dumbfounded. This may be the common problem of Fei Duan being an immortal body. Perhaps Fei Duan didn't expect that at this time, he was standing in the circle of his Cthulhu ritual at this moment. If Qin Yu really killed him, he would not die. But as for Zhao Du, he is sure to die. Sure enough, Qin Yu disappeared 1 second before, and appeared next to Fei Duan the next second. He never dreamed that one day he would not die in the hands of opponents or enemies, but in the hands of his teammates. From his eyes, Qin Yu could see his full of doubts. Zhao Du's mouth was full of blood, and his eyes began to fade. Because he clearly felt that the last heart in his body was broken at this moment. At this moment, Fei Duan directly spurted out a mouthful of blood. At the last moment of this life, Zhao Du suddenly realized that he didn't hate Qin Yu at all. Puff. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. This sentence, which hadn't been finished yet, became the last word in Zhao Du's life in an instant. People belch before they finish speaking. And at Zhao Du, 200 meters away, his complexion changed drastically at this time, and blood spurted wildly. It means, aren't you watching a movie? Why did you do it suddenly? In an instant, the black spear that had not been completely pulled out by Fei Duan was pushed back again by Qin Yu. Under the push of Qin Yu, the black spear passed directly through his chest in an instant. Immediately, he ignored the injuries on his body, but stared at Qin Yu beside him. Instead, he hated his teammates. Fei Duan, you stepped on a horse. Worry, you immortal board. At this moment, Qin Yu couldn't even use the Thunder God's sword. He just stretched out his palm and then pushed forward. Chapter 147. The undead duo died in action. Advertisement. At this moment, Qin Yu suddenly remembered an old saying. Not afraid of opponents like gods, but teammates like pigs. Sure enough, the ancients never lied to me, did I see it? Zhao Du. Looking at Zhao Du, who had a sense of indomitable eyesight, Fei Duan's whole person directly had an expression of cracking eyes. It's not that Fei Duan cares much about his teammate, nor does it care how much he cares about him. But Fei Duan is very clear, the horns are dead, then he must not be able to escape by himself. After all, people are somewhat rooted, which is selfish. I saw Fei Duan staring at Qin Yu with grief and anger, and then condemned him loudly. Despicable. Shameless. Qin Yu, you are really despicable. How can you attack me while I'm not prepared? Are you acting like a person? Bah. Qin Yu took a sip when he heard this. Then he took out his ears and said coldly, thank you to figure out that we are the enemy, either you die or I die, so there is no such thing as shamelessness. Then, now that you are dying, you still have time to be in front of me, your heart is really big. Ha ha ha. Hearing the words, Fei Duan's face immediately turned blue, and then he looked at Qin Yu with disdain and said confidently, Qin Yu, even so, what can you do to me? As this guy said, he slapped the bottom end of the black spear with a provocative slap. Puff. In an instant, the black spear that had pierced the body instantly came out and fell directly behind Fei Duan. After the black spear separated from Fei Duan's body, a dark hole appeared in his chest. The holes were dark, and they looked terrifying. Although his body was trembling because of the physical pain, Fei Duan showed no signs of dying. Ha ha ha. This feeling, this painful feeling. This feeling is really fascinating. It's a pity, I can only experience pain, but I have never been able to experience death. You know, this uncle is the most loyal believer of Lord Cthulhu. The power of Lord Cthulhu is something you can never compare. Under the blessing of Lord Cthulhu, I am immortal. No matter how strong you are, you can't kill me. In response, Qin Yu curled his lips directly. Seeing Fei Duan's triumphant look, Qin Yu felt like he wanted to laugh. Are you really so confident? Do you think I can't be absolutely sure about your immortal body? Fei Duan didn't believe what Qin Yu said. He didn't act and didn't resist. He just sneered and said, he, come on. I want to see what you can do. The flying segment at this time can be said to be truly dead end, so he has nothing to fear at this time. As for why he was dead, it was because he himself knew his current situation. By himself, he was determined that he could not be Qin Yu's opponent. However, he still has a second hand, that is his immortal body. Because of his immortality, he felt that Qin Yu would have nothing to do with him. After all, he is really immortal. At this moment, the flying segment was even considered for a long time. You must know that there is still this guy who was good at investigating and sneaking in the organization, so even if Qin Yu really does something to him, he will definitely find him and put him together. At this time, Qin Yu didn't talk nonsense with him, and the Thunder God's sword on his waist was instantly unsheathed. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. How sharp is the Thor's sword? It divided the flying segment into 7 perfectly in an instant. Advertisement. Bang. The flying section's head lost its support and directly fell heavily on the ground. But at this time he was yelling frantically, Jia Jia Jia. What do you think, Qin Yu? This uncle is immortal. Qin Yu sneered, and immediately kicked the flying section's head directly. Bang. Fei Duan's head was kicked out all the way in an instant. Even in the process of flying out, several big trees were broken. However, Rao was so, he still did not die, but continued to chatter. Ah, damn Qin Yu, he humiliated my uncle so much. But what can it do? When the uncle comes back to his body again, I must sacrifice you to Lord Cthulhu. You wait for me, Qin Yu. Enduring the offensive of Fei Duan's words, Qin Yu casually took out a seal scroll, and immediately closed several seals. In an instant, the light on the scroll was bright, and the sealing circle was opened. Qin Yu quickly came near Fei Duan's head. He was so disgusted that he was too lazy to get started, and immediately kicked it into the circle accurately. Nani. The moment Qin Yu took out the seal scroll, Fei Duan felt bad and his face changed drastically. If he is really sealed in the scroll, then I am afraid that it will not be able to save him. Do not. Qin Yu, you can't do this. Before he finished yelling, Fei Duan was sucked in by the sealing circle. Snapped. Qin Yu quickly closed the scroll and immediately put it into the bag. After that, Qin Yu no longer cares about other things, and continues to march towards Wuyin. After the undead duo was dealt with through the operation, Qin Yu once again set foot on the road to Wuyin. You know that his time is very rich, so he is not in a hurry. Nani. Nagato and Taito were both surprised at the same time. Heiju was silent at first, and then said in a deep voice, Jiaodu and Feijuan are dead. Nagato's voice was filled with incomprehension and a hint of anger. Is it so difficult to catch a second tail? As for the road, cough cough. If you don't understand the road, you just ask if you meet people on the road. This is also one of the reasons why he travels around the mountains and rivers. The soil on the side frowned at this time, and asked, what's the matter? Along the way, it is either a mountain tour or water play, and the whole person is directly roaming towards the fog. Seeing the sudden appearance of Ju, Nagato frowned and asked, didn't you ask you to inquire about the other tail beasts? Why did you come back so soon? After Nagato finished speaking, the picture also went on to say his own guess. At the base of Akatsuki's organization, Nagato and Dato were talking about the plan behind, and Xiaonan was also by his side. 3 days later, suddenly, a pitcher plant emerged from the ground. Both of them claimed to be immortal. Especially the flying section, that is really immortal. Could it be that these two rushed directly into Yunrin village to grab the second tail, and then they were surrounded by a large group of troops? Along the way, Qin Yu can be described as unrestrained and unrestrained. Furthermore, the horns are also old monsters for many years. Even if they can't fight, they can leave calmly. How can they die easily? Chapter 148. Recently there is a chance. Advertisement. At this time, Xiaonan, who had never spoken, suddenly said, I don't think it will. Fei Duan's recklessness may be able to do this kind of thing, but the horns are very stable and will never do it. All right. At this moment, Nagato coldly interrupted everyone's words, and immediately said, don't guess, absolutely, you just say, what is going on? In this regard, Juzi said lightly, they died in the country of fire. The country of fire. I let them catch the second tail, they go. Nagato was talking, but he didn't finish speaking even though he reacted. I saw him staring and asking, wait, fire country, they are looking for that Qin Yu. Hearing the words, the tone with soil instantly cooled down. What, Qin Yu? It's the guy who destroyed the organization and absorbed one tail. Nagato nodded, confirming, yes, it's him. And 3 years ago, Itachi and Ghost Shark were also defeated by this person. At this time, in order to determine the accuracy of the matter, Tuotu asked coldly again, Ju, Fei Duan and Zhao are really dead in the hands of that Qin Yu. Bai Ju replied very positively, yes, it's a good thing that kid did. Hearing absolute affirmation, Nagato was so angry that he almost pulled the pipe behind him. D. These two idiots. I have 1,000 exhortations, tell them not to go or not, catch the tail beast. Ghosts also warned many times, they still went, these two bastards are really looking for death. At this time, Xiaonan, who has been silent for a long time, once again faintly analyzed, this person in Fei Duan is very victorious. Perhaps the reminders and warnings of Yu and Gui Yu have a counterproductive effect and aroused his warlike heart. Hearing this, Nagato directly asked uncomfortably, where is the corner? How can he fan Hun with Fei Duan? Xiao Nan was also not clear about this, so he could only speculate with a shrug. Jiaodu, naturally there is a reason for him to act. I heard that since the last battle, Qin Yu's offer on the black market has reached 200 million taels of silver. Ha ha ha. Hearing this, Baiju on the side laughed strangely, and immediately said coldly, no wonder. This fellow Jiaodu, hearing this news, how could he be able to hold back? And Heiju sneered in response. He completely treats Qin Yu as 200 million taels of silver. Hole. Nagato suddenly stopped beating, and immediately said angrily, what's the result? Get yourself in. Flying section is fine. Jiaodu is a good financial manager and a general member of the organization. It's a shame that it's so discounted. At this time, Tai Tu also asked in a deep voice, this Qin Yu really has such a great ability. The face hidden under the mask with soil was also gloomy at this time. As for the writing wheel that was exposed, it was also slightly squinted at this time. This person really shouldn't be underestimated. We defeated Uchiha Itachi and Onishi 3 years ago, and then they disappeared. Unexpectedly, he would reappear some time ago, and then killed Deidara and subdued the scorpion. And now, I even killed Jiaodu and Fei Duan directly. This person is definitely a huge enemy of the organization. Heiju at this time was also gloomy analyzing Qin Yu's actions over the years. At this time, Tai Tu suddenly asked coldly, I didn't expect that the strength will be like this now. If you are giving him a few years, then. Although I haven't finished talking about bringing soil, everyone present understood it. At this moment, Xiao Nan on the side also thought to himself in his heart. Read more at hotmtl novel.zi. Unexpectedly, even an old monster like Uchiha Madara would be so jealous of Qin Yu. Advertisement. Qin Yu, what kind of person are you? Humph. Nagato snorted, and then said confidently, no matter how strong he is, he can't be God's opponent. Don't take it lightly. Dai Tu frowned. Over the years, Nagato's self-confidence has grown more and more, and he is somewhat helpless. After all, although he ostensibly called himself Uchiha Madara, he did not have the strength of Uchiha Madara at all. To be honest, although Nagato couldn't help him because of space ninjutsu, he couldn't do anything to Nagato. After all, the power of the Eye of Reincarnation is a trifling matter. At this time, Nagato continued to say coldly, killing so many members of the organization, and destroying the organization's big plan again and again. I can't tolerate him. If there is a chance, I must kill him. I will let him know that God is not to be offended. At this moment, Nagato's voice was full of thick killing intent. It should be known that Qin Yu's continuous shots, humiliating or killing or saving people, brought endless trouble to the Shao organization. But Qin Yu's actions made Nagato, the owner of the Shao organization, very angry. At this moment, Ju, as the most insidious old thing in Hokage, suddenly turned his eyes. Immediately, he said directly, speaking of which, this opportunity really exists. Okay. Nagato and Tato were all interested immediately. Seeing that his goal has been achieved, Heiju will not sell it anymore at this time. The reason why Jiaodu and Fiden can run into Qin Yu outside Muya village is because this kid is going on a mission this time. And his mission this time is to represent Konoha to participate in the succession ceremony of the 5 dynasties Water Shadow. 5 generations of Water Shadow. The soiled glasses suddenly narrowed. On the side of Nagato, his eyes narrowed slightly at this time, and he immediately said, you mean Qin Yu will go to the water country alone? However, Qin Yu knew very well that Terumi Ming still loved peace very much. Seeing this, Qin Yu raised his eyebrows slightly, his eyes were a little weird. You know, if you don't know it, if you see this scene in front of you, it is estimated that they will think that they are going to be encircled and annihilated. And it seems that the lowest among these people must have the level of forbearance among the elite. Through this strong murderous intent, the discerning people can immediately see that they are carrying more than one life on their hands. Baiju heard the words and shrugged his shoulders and said, that's right. After getting a definite answer, Nagato and Dato looked at each other in unison, and immediately saw the coldness in each other's eyes. As soon as I arrived at the gate of Wuyin village, a large number of people came out from the village in an instant. These people are full of very strong murderous aura. At this time, the swaying Qin Yu finally saw the gate of Wuyin village. You know, Qin Yukin came all the way to Wuyin, and his purpose was obvious, and that was to come and play with Terumi Ming. At this time, such an idea suddenly appeared in Qin Yu's heart. Therefore, she shouldn't do this kind of thing. If you can't see Terumi Mei, it is estimated that he will really draw his sword straight away. Could it be that because of my chaotic entry, the water shadow of the 5 dynasties in Wuyin village is not Terumi Ming? If the 5 generations of water shadow is not Terumi Ming, then why am I here on horseback? Chapter 149. Enter the Wuyin village. Advertisement. At this time, the personnel on both sides are getting closer and closer. Suddenly, the ninja team coming out of the hidden mist village stopped in unison, and immediately separated from the middle. A graceful figure wearing a blue hood is slowly walking out of the middle road. Welcome Konoha Special Envoy to Wuyin village. I am the newly appointed 5-generation water shadow in Wuyin village Terumi Ming. Terumi Ming's voice came from under the water shadow hat, and the voice was crisp and full of charm. As Terumi Mei's voice fell, a jade hand slowly lifted the blue water shadow hat at the beginning. The hat was lifted, revealing an extremely delicate face, exactly the enchanting face of Terumi Mei. Long brown hair, emerald green phoenix eyes, enchanting plump body, all the time reveals a charming temperament. Qin Yu was standing face to face with Terumi Ming at this moment, and both of them were looking at each other at this moment. Terumi Ming looked at Qin Yu, and said in his heart, this person is the famous Qin Yu in Konoha. He looks handsome, but no matter how he looks, he should be a bad man. And Qin Yu looked at Teramiming, and said in her heart, this woman is the 5 generations of Shuiying Teramiming, and the real person is more charming and enchanting than the anime. She is really a full-fledged fairy, and it's worthwhile to come all the way back. This trip. At this time, Qin Yu hooked up the corner of his mouth, and immediately before everyone's eyes, Shishiren stretched out his right hand. Okay. Seeing this, Terumi Mei was taken aback for a moment, and then a blush appeared on her white cheeks. After hesitating in his heart, he still stretched out his right hand slowly. Humph. There was more than one cold snort at this moment in the welcome team of Wuyin village. And just under everyone's eyes, Qin Yu and Terumi Ming finally held their hands gently together. Terumi Ming's jade hands are very delicate, very soft, and there is a hint of coolness. How do you say that sentence? There is a slight coolness in the jade, it is for Yinglang. The moment the two sides shook hands, Terumi Ming, who was the 5th generation Shui Ying, flushed even more. And Qin Yu didn't hold it for too long. You know, he is a scumbag, and he is also a very high level, Emperor scumbag, of course he will not be as naive as Brother Pig. However, before Qin Yu let go of Teramiming's jade hand, he lightly scratched the palm of Teramiming's hand. And this action was very obscure, and no one noticed it except for the two parties involved. This guy, he really is a bad man. Terumi Ming raised her head a little shamefully, and stared at Qin Yu angrily. As for who Qin Yu was, of course he didn't care at all, and he raised an eyebrow at her frivolously. Huh, Terumi stomped her feet bitterly. For so many years, I don't know how many people want to pursue her. Even so, there has never been a man who dares to be so presumptuous to her. But I don't know why, although Terumi Mei is ashamed, he is not angry with the man in front of him. Terumi Ming quickly adjusted his mentality, and immediately said to Qin Yu charmingly, your envoy came from afar and worked hard. I will take you to the post house to rest first. The succession ceremony will be held tomorrow. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Hearing this, Qin Yu waved his hand, and immediately said, my name is Uchiha Qin Yu, you can call me Qin Yu, you don't need to be a famous envoy. Advertisement. Ha ha. Terumi Mei covered her mouth and smiled lightly, and then said, I have heard of your name a long time ago. Seeing you today, it really is a well-deserved reputation. If this is the case, then I am disrespectful, Qin Yu. While talking, Terumi Ming led Qin Yu into Wuyin village. And behind her, a large group of Zhang Renshang followed closely. The group of people entered the Wuyin village in such a mighty manner. Inside the misty village, when the pedestrians on the street saw the battle, they all cast curious eyes. Qin Yu said with a slight pain, I said Lord Shuiying, so many people have to follow through the market. Terumi Mei smiled and said, these are my high-level ninjas in the mist, I specially asked them to come over, to show that I pay attention to the mist, and secondly to protect the safety of Konoha's envoy. When Qin Yu heard this, he said, I can see it, it really pays attention to it. It almost made me think that I was going to encircle and annihilate me. When Terumi Ming heard this, she just covered her mouth and chuckled. Ha ha ha, Qin Yu, you can really tell a joke. When the words were over, Terumi Mei immediately waved his hand casually, and the many ninjas who followed him immediately dispersed. A large group of light bulbs following him disappeared, and Qin Yu's mood suddenly improved. Along the way, from time to time someone took the initiative to greet Terumi Mei, and she also responded happily. Seeing this, Qin Yu said in a slightly joking tone, it seems that the 5 generations of Shuiying are very much loved by the people. Terumi Ming paused, and immediately replied, 4 generations of adults have been deceived by others and have done a lot of wrong things. In a sense, I am now stigmatized by him. What I did was nothing worth mentioning. Terumi Ming pursed her lips after finishing speaking, and looked at Qin Yu with some curiosity. It's you. These days I can only listen to others talking about your deeds. I didn't expect that Master Hokage really sent you over this time. Qin Yu waved his hand and said indifferently, well, what I did was all trivial things. Ha ha ha. Terumi Ming covered her mouth and chuckled, and then said, Qin Yu of Konoha is rumored to be a very arrogant guy. Seeing him today, it seems that the rumors are wrong. At a young age, he killed an injured Akatsuki many times. Not only that, but also saved Feng Ying. These are all major events that shook Ninja World. Qin Yu spread his hands directly, and immediately said helplessly, well. The main reason is that the opponent is too weak. I haven't done anything yet, and they are no longer able to do it. There is no way this can be done. Puff. Seeing Qin Yu whose painting style suddenly changed, Terumi Ming couldn't help but laugh softly. Immediately he said secretly in his heart, this little man is really an interesting guy. Is it funny? Qin Yu glanced at her sideways. Terumi Mei put up an index finger, and immediately swayed. The people of Akatsuki organization, I have also contacted them. They are all wicked people, and their combat power is quite good. They are not weak. Oh. Qin Yu shrugged his shoulders and said, strong and weak things are all relative. Terumi Ming directly rolled his eyes on this, and immediately thought to himself. It seems that the rumors are correct, this guy is quite arrogant. Chapter 150, 5 People 2. Advertisement. Terumi Ming's eyes rolled, and then he suddenly said, I heard that the 2 defectors of our Misty Swordsmen have been defeated by you. If the peach ground is not cut, it will be dead in your hands. Huh. Hearing this, Qin Yu directly pretended to be silly and said, what's the matter? Master Shuiying is going to thank me. That's not necessary. This. Terumi Mei was indignant, and there was ups and downs in front of him. Ahem, I mean, the decapitation knife and the shark muscle are all Wyan's artifacts, and I hope you can return it to Wuyin. Qin Yu curled his lips directly, and then said faintly, well, since it is Wyan's divine tool, Wuyin has established diplomatic relations with Konoha now, so I should return it. However, I have already given the 2 big knives to the village a long time ago. Master Shuiying should negotiate with Master Naruto. In an instant, Qin Yu threw the pot directly into Tsunade's hands far away in Konoha. Gluck. When Terumi Ming heard the words, she immediately looked at Qin Yu with a smile but a smile. Master Hokage, I have communicated with you. He said that the 2 big knives have been on you all the time, and asked you to return them to Wuyin by the way. What the hell? In an instant, Qin Yu had a look of bewilderment, and then said, wipe. Tsunade didn't tell me in advance. Qin Yu rolled his eyes, and immediately said sincerely, well. I did give it to the senior Konoha, didn't Tsunade-sama know? Oh, Lord Shuiying may not know it. The 2 big swords I captured first were before Tsunade-sama became Hokage, and Tsunade-sama became the 5th generation of Hokage after this incident, so she may not know about it. So these 2 big knives may be kept in the hands of the 3rd generation of Hokage. Terumi Ming immediately looked at Qin Yu suspiciously and asked, is this really the case? Without squinting his eyes, Qin Yu said sincerely, of course it is. Terumi Ming stared at Qin Yu for a while, Zan even said helplessly, that, well. The 2 walked together like this, and after a while, they came to the post. In the post house, the layout is quite luxurious. Obviously, Wuyin attaches great importance to Konoha's visit, and the reception specifications are definitely the highest standard. At this time, Terumi Ming looked at Qin Yu and said seriously, when you arrive at Qin Yu, you can rest today. Tomorrow I will send your subordinates to take you to the ceremony site. Qin Yu raised his eyebrows, and immediately said with some playfulness, Sir Shuiying won't come in and sit down. This bad man. Terumi Mei was secretly embarrassed and angry. Although I thought so in my heart, but calmly said on the face, I am not as idle as you, there are still a lot of government affairs waiting for me to deal with. Upon hearing this, Qin Yu said solemnly, it's okay, you can come at night. Huh, bad man. Terumi Mei stomped her feet, blushing and left. Qin Yu watched Terumi Ming leave, and said with a smile on his face, well, it will be mine sooner or later. After Terumi Ming left, Qin Yu entered the post house to rest. The next day, early in the morning, the foggy village will be lit up and down, which can be said to be really bustling to the extreme. You know, Qin Shuiying's succession to the throne is the biggest joyous event in the Misty Shadow in more than a decade. Therefore, elite ninjas and civilians in Wuyin village gathered in front of the Water Shadow office. As civilians, most of them are standing in the square in front of the Water Shadow office in an orderly manner, and everyone's faces are full of smiles. As a ninja in the Hidden Fog village, he is much more casual. They either stand on the tree or on the roof, anyway, there are all kinds of forms. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. As the special envoy sent by Konoha, Qin Yu was arranged by Shuiying in an excellent place at this moment. Advertisement. His position is on a high platform. The opposite of him was facing Shuiying's office. Beside Qin Yu, a few senior officials from Wuyin village were arranged to accompany him. Although sitting in this position, but don't know why, Qin Yu had a vague premonition in his heart. Clatter, clatter, clatter. Qin Yu quietly waited for Shuiying's succession ceremony to begin. As time passed by, noon arrived. Boom. With the sound of a salute, Terumi Mei, wearing a water shadow costume, finally showed up. Beautiful face, exquisite figure, coupled with a pair of amorous peach eyes, can be said to be an absolutely perfect image. Boom. As soon as Terumi Ming appeared, he evoked the most enthusiastic response from the public in an instant. All the people in the Wuyin village, even the ninjas, seemed to be knocked out of medicine. Everyone shouted her name almost fanatically. Everyone offered their fullest enthusiasm and cheers. Seeing the people in Wuyin village behaving like this, Qin Yu curled his lips and muttered, a bunch of neuroses, what are you calling my wife? The elder of Wuyin village sitting next to Qin Yu heard Qin Yu's muttering, and immediately asked, your envoy, what are you talking about? When Qin Yu was asked this, he slapped him directly and said, I said, the 5 generations of Shuiying are really popular among the people. When the elder heard this, he just smiled and said, ha ha ha, that is. At this time, Terumi Ming had already started her inaugural speech. Just as Qin Yu was thinking about when and in what way he should appear on the stage. Suddenly, there was a sudden change in the surroundings. Just above the Water Shadow office, a small vortex suddenly emerged. As soon as the vortex appeared, everyone present did not respond at all. But who is Qin Yu, and how amazing his perception ability is? At that moment, he noticed it instantly, and immediately stood up abruptly. Qin Yu's eyes narrowed slightly, his gaze fixed on that spatial vortex. Then, a somewhat gloomy voice suddenly resounded through the audience. Ha ha ha, today the newcomer Shuiying succeeds to the throne, my predecessor Shuiying, I should also congratulate him. After the voice fell, the 5 figures suddenly appeared above the sky. However, the most confusing thing is, these 5 people, their figures, happened to block the sun in the sky. Although only 5 people came, it seemed a little thin. However, the aura and killing intent emanating from their bodies is incredibly amazing. At this time, the countless civilians and ninjas in the hidden fog village looked at the 5 figures in the sky in fear. The 5 human shadows slowly fell, and finally landed on the top of the tall pillars in the water shadow office. Terumi Ming had just officially completed the succession ceremony of Shui Ying, and at this time he also turned around. Looking at the 5 figures standing on the pillar, her fascinating peach eyes narrowed slightly. Chapter 151. Debut. Advertisement. Looking at the 5 people in front of him, Terumi Ming recognized one of them wearing a mask in an instant. This person is the guy who used illusion to manipulate the 4 generations of Mizukage Yakura. As for the other 4 figures, she did not know them at all. Although they don't know each other, seeing that they are all dressed in red clouds with black background, just like the masked men, I know that they are in the same group. Looking at the people in front of her with her eyes closed, she felt very curious. After all, Terumi Ming could feel their powerful aura from them. At this time, the masked man who was an old acquaintance looked down at Terumi Ming condescendingly, and immediately asked cheerfully, I don't know if the 5 generations of Shuiying, do you welcome us? Although the masked man felt a smile on his face, the tone in his voice was unusually cold. When Terumi Ming heard the words, he directly replied coldly, you be asterisk 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 d, you did such an excessive thing to the predecessor Shui Ying, and you dare to come back. The masked man, that is, Uchiha with a cold smile, immediately said, I'm not only coming back, but I also want to give you a big gift to Misty Hide. Today, I want to make your red matter white. Seeing that the masked man suddenly appeared so arrogant, there were several ninjas with irritable characters in Wuyin village immediately couldn't help it. I saw them yelling at the masked man, while rushing towards the masked man Uchiha with dirt. B asterisk 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 D. Where the hell are you from? Treading horses, dare to be so cruel that our Shuiying-sama talks like this, I think you are looking for death. Who cares about him? Dare to be disrespectful to Master Shuiying, take off his head and say. Seeing Terumi Ming who had rushed in front of the 5 people, he was shocked and hurriedly shouted, no. Don't be impulsive. However, everything is too late. Among the 5 people standing on the pillar, one of the bald guys suddenly stretched out his arm. The palms were spread out, and the palms were facing the ninja of Wuyin village that was already approaching. Click. Click, click. Hum. A sound of mechanical collision and operation sounded, and the original flesh and blood arm suddenly turned into a laser cannon. Bang, bang, bang. The laser cannon fired a burst, several laser shells burst out instantly, and several ninjas in the hidden village of Mist died instantly on the spot, and even the corpses were not found. A asterisk hole. Damn it. Seeing the tragic death of several subordinates in an instant, Terumi Ming's expression changed, her silver teeth clenched. However, the misty people in front of the water shadow office were suddenly in an uproar when they saw the enemy's weird methods. However, at this critical time, Terumi Ming, who is a water shadow, is very calm. I saw that she immediately made targeted arrangements based on the current situation. Don't mess with everyone. The ninjas are responsible for evacuation of civilians. The crowd who had already been in a turmoil suddenly heard the orders of the new Shui Ying, and it calmed down a lot of time. Immediately after regaining consciousness, the people in Wuyin village began to act according to Terumi Ming's orders. The civilians began to retreat in swarms, and the misty ninjas were responsible for preventing them from retreating. Almost everyone moved, only a few people in black wearing masks were still guarding Terumi Mei. And these guards of Terumi Ming are his guards. Staring fiercely at the 5 figures in front of him, Terumi Ming gritted his teeth gently and said, you guys should also go together, these guys are not something you can handle. Master Shuiying. The guards suddenly became anxious. Seeing this, Terumi Ming directly took out the momentum of being a water shadow, and shouted, obey the order. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi, yes. Seeing that Terumi Ming, who is a water shadow, gave the order, although the guard was worried, he had to obey the order. Advertisement. Seeing this scene, the masked man Uchiha brought the soil and said with a sneer, hee hee, little girl, I have to say that you do have some tricks, no wonder you can sit in this position of Hokage. However, do you really think that you can stop the 5 of us on your own? Humph. Terumi Atumi stared, and as Tsukage, she responded without showing any weakness, how do you know if you don't try it? Ha ha. Then let us try, you new water shadow, how many caddies are there? The 5 shadows sang softly at the same time, and they wanted to do it. And at this moment, a joking voice suddenly came. Don't you feel ashamed that 5 bastards bully a weak woman? Whoosh. At this moment, a black figure suddenly appeared in front of Terumi Ming, and soon she was blocking her behind her. Looking at the straight figure standing in front of her, there was a ripple in Terumi Ming's beautiful eyes. Although it is now a 2-to-5 situation, but I don't know why, Terumi suddenly felt a sense of security that he couldn't explain the truth at this moment. Qin Yu's slightly immature figure, at this moment, looked unusually stalwart in Terumi Ming's eyes. For a while, Terumi looked silly. However, when Qin Yu suddenly appeared, Uchiha, the masked man, was not surprised at all. I saw him say coldly towards Qin Yu who appeared, "Hehe. It seems that the news is correct, you have come to Wuyin village, Qin Yu." Oh, when Qin Yu heard this, he was taken aback for a moment, then smiled and said, "It turns out, it was for me." The masked man Uchiha also said coldly, "Otherwise, a misty village, do you think it is worth our fight?" "Should be. It should be Konoha's one." There was a lot of discussion below, but the atmosphere above the water shadow office was very solemn. He is a Konoha ninja, what does he come to our misty village for? After a long time, he said coldly, "Very good." People in Wuyin village heard this conversation, many stopped, and immediately looked in this direction curiously. "Qin Yu, I have heard reports about you in my ears all this time. However, it seems pretty reliable. This kind of critical moment, you can take the initiative to stand up." Uchiha brought the earth down, his eyes fixed on Qin Yu's body. Immediately afterwards, everyone in Wuyin village began to talk. But looking at the person's attire and half of the Hokage sleeves on his body, it should be him. Reliable shit. I think it's a disaster star. Didn't you hear the guy in the mask say it? It was for him. Ah, is that so? Qin Yu, who is that? I heard that the 5 generations of Shuiying wanted to have a good relationship with Konoha. When someone came to watch the ceremony, Konoha sent him over. However, this is too young to be too young. Chapter 152, God. Reincarnation I. Advertisement. In the beginning I thought you were just a kid, it should be nothing to worry about. However, I never expected that you suddenly emerged 3 years ago. You not only defeated Sanin's Oshimaru, but also defeated the Itachi and ghosts of our organization. At that time, I sent someone to investigate you. I didn't expect you to stay in Konoha village for 3 years. It's fine if you stay in Konoha village. I don't bother to care about you, but you dare to attack my organization again. Not only have you repeatedly undermined the organization's grand plan, but you have also killed several generals in the organization. You are really capable. Uchiha did not speak quickly with the soil, but his voice was full of coldness. Even so, from his short paragraph, countless information was exposed. At this moment, countless ninjas in the Hidden Mist village opened their mouths, a little unbelievable. Rao is Terumi Ming who has become a water shadow, and loves you at this moment is no exception. She saw her beautiful eyes widened, and her small hand was somewhat surprised to cover her mouth. Although Qin Yu saved Konoha 3 years ago, after such a long period of fermentation and spread, it is no longer a secret. And in Wuyin village, people and ninjas have heard some legends about him. But what happened later, they were completely unaware of it. For example, defeating Uchiha Itachi and dried persimmon ghost shark, as well as killing other members of Akatsuki's organization. The legend about Qin Yu in Wuyin village is more about his age and the half of Hokage sleeves. But now, everyone in Wuyin village has a deeper understanding of Qin Yu's strength. Although I don't understand why Uchiha Itachi and dried persimmon ghost shark are mixed together. However, these two are both ruthless people who are famous in the world of forbearance, which is well known to everyone. Uchiha Itachi, that was a super ruthless man who destroyed his own clan. Dried persimmon ghost shark, that is one of the 7 Wuyin ninja swords in Wuyin village. These 2 men are both S-class important prisoners on the most wanted list. However, being able to defeat these 2 people together with his own strength is enough to show how amazing Qin Yu's combat effectiveness is. Terumi Ming pursed her mouth, and looked at Qin Yu's tall and straight back, her enchanting eyes narrowed slightly. What a charming little man. Qin Yu tickled the corner of his mouth slightly when he heard the dirt-carrying force, and immediately said in a shocking tone, "I really didn't expect that I should be so awesome, don't you even know that I don't know?" Yes, the young master did those things. Why, you guys came today to find a place for those wastes. As soon as Qin Yu said this, Terumi Ming rolled his eyes. Many people in Wuyin village are also talking about it at this moment. This guy is really crazy. Sure enough, it's exactly the same as the legend. However, at his age and capable of possessing this kind of strength and honor, if I were him, I would definitely be more mad than him. The truth. But I have to say silently, those deeds are from him 3 years ago. I lost. It seems to be true. But with that said, I'm full of confidence in him again. I want him to join forces with Lord Shui Ying, and he will definitely defeat these guys with hidden faces. ... This time, Uchiha took the soil and did not speak, but just looked at Qin Yu coldly. Instead, the orange-haired young man beside him who had never spoken, suddenly spoke. Qin Yu, if we can, we don't want to be your enemy. You can consider joining us. To recruit me. Qin Yu raised his eyebrows and said, Shao organization. Not bad. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. The orange-haired youth nodded and said, join us and create peace together, otherwise, your ability will be buried. Advertisement. Ha ha. Qin Yu smiled freely and said, what if I say no? I really can't take any interest in you, a rebel organization full of hidden heads and bare tails. Hearing that, the original indifferent look on the orange-haired youth's face has become even more indifferent. To Qin Yu coldly said, Qin Yu, I know you are very capable, but I hope you can understand that you are far from the strongest in today's ninja world. At least, in front of me, you don't have any arrogant capital. The orange-haired young man had just finished speaking, and immediately opened his eyes that had been closed. In an instant, a pair of lavender eyes suddenly appeared. And the most weird thing is that his eyes don't seem to have pupils, but are full of ripples. Gosh, what kind of eyes are that? I don't know, I have never seen this kind of eyes. No, you don't even know you. But, it looks so weird. Very scary. At this moment, everyone in Wuyin village was shocked. They talked to each other for a long time, but there was no result. And Terumi Ming, who was standing behind Qin Yu, saw these eyes at this moment. Her beautiful eyes widened suddenly, and there was an incredible look in her eyes. Other people may not recognize the pair of eyes in front of them. However, as Shui Ying, she recognized it. Although he recognized it, he still couldn't believe what he saw before him. After all, those eyes only exist in the legend. Ha ha. Qin Yu sneered, then looked directly at Tiandao and said, "Is it your pair of reincarnation eyes that give you this kind of self-confidence?" Hearing this, Tiandao also responded with a cold smile. "It seems that you still have some eyesight, and you actually recognize this as the eye of reincarnation. Since you know, why are you still so stupid, trying to resist? You should know that the eyes of reincarnation are the eyes of immortals. They are the eyes of gods. This is not something you can resist." Which adult? The eyes of 6 immortals, then why does this person have reincarnation eyes? What they said was the reincarnation eye. In an instant, the faces of all the misty ninjas changed drastically, and all of them showed a pessimistic attitude. I think he has the courage to shit, he is obviously ignorant. However, at this moment, Qin Yu suddenly said to Tian Dao in a shocking voice, "The god's eye of shit, don't put gold on your face." Hiss. Can Wu Yin really resist the power of this fairy's eye? The conversation between Qin Yu and Tiandao was like thunder, which shocked everyone in Wu Yin. This guy is crazy. Does he know what he is talking about? Is it the reincarnation eye that is known as the head of the 3-pupil art? It's the eyes of the legendary adult. That's right, this person is a typical person who has a little ability and is crazy and boundless, but the opponent is the eye of reincarnation. But this person is really bold. The ancestor of the ninja, the 6 immortals. Who else could it be? Chapter 153, The Eyes of Reincarnation. Advertisement. Humph. After all, it's a young fame, so arrogance is understandable. But it's a bit too arrogant, right? I see how he ends up in a while. Everyone in Wuyin village present, at this moment, none of them were optimistic about Qin Yu, they were all complaining. You know, when everyone is facing the legendary reincarnation eye, Qin Yu in front of him is no longer worth mentioning. And this is the inevitability of human nature. In the eyes of the people in Wuyin village, the eyes of reincarnation are the eyes of immortals, and exist in legends. Therefore, everyone should be very scared. However, the fact is that they are very afraid, but Qin Yu is not panicked at all. When the two are compared, the gap between people is reflected. Obviously, Qin Yu is completely above them. And this is of course they are unwilling to accept. Therefore, they are all ridiculing in this one by one. Terumi Ming's face was a little gloomy after listening to the ridicule of the people at hand. It was obvious that Qin Yu was on his side. These people mocked the teammates so much. Isn't it a problem? In this regard, Qin Yu personally didn't care at all. Because in his eyes, the misty people are just a bunch of scum. For a group of scum, how could he put them in his heart? Hearing Qin Yu's arrogant words, Tiandao Peian said with a more indifferent expression, "Qin Yu, do you know the consequences of offending God?" Ha ha, that's a real laugh. Qin Yu curled his lips with a sneer, and immediately said, "The 6 immortals are not gods in my eyes, let alone you." As soon as this remark came out, there was an uproar immediately wave. Arrogant, it's so arrogant. Are the juniors now so arrogant? Even the 6 Dao immortals don't even look at them. This person is no longer arrogant, this is simply stupid. Qin Yu, I said you are not worthy to be arrogant in front of me, there is a reason. Obviously, Nagato, as the leader, was also angered by Qin Yu at this moment. Under Nagato's control, the other 3 Pain also opened their eyes at the same time. In an instant, the 4 pairs of reincarnation eyes stared at everyone below indifferently. Those who did not know the truth were all stunned at this moment. Obviously, the shock of the simultaneous appearance of the 4 pairs of reincarnation eyes is really too strong. Suddenly, the sound of swallowing was endless. Seeing the expressions of everyone off the court, there was shock and awe, and he was very satisfied. Immediately, he laughed coldly. However, when his gaze came to Qin Yu, his smile froze in an instant. Because, on Qin Yu's face, he could not see a trace of fear. Huh, Nagato snorted coldly, then said secretly, "Pretend to be. Our 4 pairs of reincarnation eyes are on the body, if you do it, you will undoubtedly die." Tiandao said coldly. "Qin Yu, I'm still willing to give you a chance. Join us now, I won't care about the previous things." Ha ha, Qin Yu smiled, this time he really smiled. Maybe others will not know the truth and be fooled by the way of heaven. But who is Qin Yu, that is going through the party, can that be bluffed casually? However, Nagato was also interesting, thinking that Qin Yu would be bluffed by his 4 pairs of reincarnations just like everyone else, and it came out deliberately. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. However, since Nagato is playing like this, he has something to say. Advertisement. If the ninja world only had a pair of reincarnation eyes, maybe I would still be afraid of 1 or 2. However, There are as many as 4 pairs in your Xiao organization alone. Is such a bad street merchandise worthy of the little master's fear? Huh. Tian Dao frowned, and immediately felt a little confused. As for the people in Wuyin village, they were even stunned at this moment. Seeing Pen with a pale face, Qin Yu immediately hooked his mouth, and suddenly spoke again. Actually, it's not impossible for me to join the Xiao organization. You promise me one condition and I will consider joining. Nani? You. The face of Terumi Ming who stood behind Qin Yu suddenly changed, and her beautiful eyes were full of incredulity. She never expected that Qin Yu, Konoha, might even get involved with Xiao organization. Humph. As the god of heaven, Pain snorted, and immediately said coldly, no one has ever dared to negotiate terms with me. I will make an exception for you today. Let's talk about it. Qin Yu hooked his mouth and said jokingly, I heard that there is a Xiao Nan in your Xiao organization. Let her follow this uncle in the future, and I will consider joining your Xiao organization. Hearing this, Terumi Ming's brows jumped wildly. You don't have to ask, you can guess that this person named Xiao Nan must be a beautiful woman. Terumi couldn't help thinking bitterly, what kind of B*********** D this charming little man in front of him was. With such a large crowd, he was able to say such words in such a grandiose manner. Nani? Qin Yu, what are you talking about? As soon as Qin Yu said this, Tiandao Paian's face changed drastically. His face, which was originally very indifferent, suddenly became extremely green. Pain's voice was cold and piercing, as if from the nether hell. Feeling the infinite coldness in his voice, the misty ninjas below shuddered. However, Qin Yu was not affected at all. Instead, he raised his eyebrows with a smile and said, you heard me right. Baga. Nagato was furious. For him, Xiaonan and Yahiko are close relatives, and no problems are tolerated. Yahiko didn't protect him well, but he will definitely protect Xiaonan. Qin Yu dared to speak like this, how could Heavenly Dao Pain bear it? The masked man watched with soil-cold eyes for a long time, and then suddenly he spoke to Heavenly Dao Pain. Okay. Don't talk nonsense with him. I don't think this kid has a cooperative attitude at all. In order to avoid future troubles, just kill it. Huh, I meant it. Pain nodded, and immediately looked down at Qin Yu indifferently and said, Qin Yu, you will regret it soon. Qin Yu responded without showing any weakness. Coincidentally, I will never regret it. Kang. The Thor's sword was unsheathed instantly. Qin Yu held the Thunder God's sword and pointed at the 5 members of the Xiao organization in the sky. And these 5 people, respectively, masked men with soil, and 4 pain, respectively, they were Heavenly Dao, Shira Dao, Animal Dao, and Hungry Ghost Dao. At this time, I feel it is necessary to give you a special explanation. There is a reason why the 5 members of Akatsuki's organization suddenly appeared in Wuyin. After Zhao Du and Fiden were killed, Zhu always brought the news back to the Xiao organization. It can be said that since the death of Yahiko Akatsuki, the Akatsuki organization has been going smoothly and has never suffered any loss. However, since getting involved with Qin Yu, he suffered from repeated losses and his plan was ruined. Not only that, but the members of the organization were injured, so Nagato was furious. As the leader and creator of Akatsuki organization, Uchiha Dato is even more annoyed. After the 2 of them discussed this, they decided to simply come to the land of water to directly block Qin Yu. Chapter 154. Open. Advertisement. If you draw him into the organization, then draw him into the organization. If he can't be drawn into the organization, he will be directly beheaded with the momentum of thunder. In doing so, he avoided his continuous growth, and thus avoided his confidant troubles in the future. In addition to the previous soil, he was forced out of Wuyin by the newcomer Shui Ying Terumi Ming and his subordinates. It happened to be able to take this opportunity to return to Wuyin village and find a place by the way. It can be said that this action is really killing 2 birds with 1 stone. After the 2 people discussed it, they felt that the 4 great pain plus a behind-the-scenes hand in person had already given Qin Yu enough face. Even if you need to do something at that time, it is absolutely foolproof. The 2 sides confronted each other quietly, and the terrifying murderous aura continued to collide between several people. The terrifying battle is on the verge of. At this moment, Terumi Ming suddenly said to Qin Yu, hey. Bad man, be careful when you do it, and don't cause too much damage to the mist. Seeing this, Qin Yu raised an eyebrow at her and said, please beg me. You bad guy. Terumi Ming gave Qin Yu a fierce look with her beautiful peach blossom eyes, exuding thousands of styles. This person is really true, when is this in the mood for joking? She spit Qin Yu fiercely in her heart. Qin Yu shrugged, but he didn't care about it. Because he knows that it's all the same. These guys in front of you are not easy to provoke. You know, the combat effectiveness of Hokage in the past life began to collapse after the appearance of these goods. Fight with these people, you can't help but sabotage. Especially the Tiandao among these people, that is recognized as the strongest professional household in demolition in Hokage. However, the most embarrassing thing is that there are a lot of professional demolition households here today. You know, the few pens present are not destructive except Hungry Ghost Dao. The rest are the top demolition professional households. The various psychic beasts of the Beast Dao, the various types of the Asura Dao, and the Shenluo Tianzheng of the Heavenly Dao are more destructive than the other. If you don't pay attention, I'm afraid Wuyin village will be flattened today. Well, that's okay, anyhow the battlefield doesn't have to be Konoha. Qin Yu thought secretly. Huh, Qin Yu died. Seeing Qin Yu's hippie smiling face, Tiandao Payan was even more angry, and suddenly narrowed his eyes. At this time, Tiandao Payan's left hand suddenly stretched out, and immediately opened his palm. His palm was aimed at Qin Yu far away. Vientian Tianian. An indifferent voice came from Tiandao Payan's mouth, and immediately his reincarnation eyes suddenly shone. A majestic gravitational force is emitted from his palm. Qin Yu hooked the corner of his mouth, and chakra clung to the soles of his feet abruptly. Whoosh. Before the gravitational force of Wanxiang Tianian arrived, Qin Yu had already used the instantaneous technique to leave. When Qin Yu left, he directly exposed Terumi Ming behind him. In an instant, the powerful gravitational force of Vientian Tianian immediately acted on Terumi Ming's body. Terumi Ming knew nothing about Pen's power and abilities, and was caught off guard. The graceful body suddenly lifted off the ground and flew straight towards the heavenly Dao Pain. Nani? This is. Terumi Ming, who kept flying forward from the ground with her feet off the ground, was shocked, and her eyes were full of incredible peach blossoms. But she can become a water shadow, and naturally she is not a vase. Read more at hotmtl novel.zi. After a brief shock, she immediately regained her senses. Advertisement. A pair of jade hands flew quickly and began to seal quickly. Boiling escape skillful fog technique. Terumi Ming opened her small mouth slightly, and immediately sprayed a large mist from her mouth. Under Terumi Mei's blowing, the mist rushed straight ahead. Terumi Ming's ninjutsu trick is very famous in Naruto. This is a bloody boundary created by the combination of fire and water chakras. What is ejected by boiling escape is not ordinary water vapor, but high heat mist that can freely adjust the acidity. This kind of mist not only has a wide range of attack, but is also extremely corrosive. This is a very rare and very powerful blood air. And, know that Terumi Ming is more than just a fuss. She is a very rare dual blood succession in the ninja world. And she will also have a kind of escape technique that is also extremely powerful rectification. However, relatively speaking, the mist of this skillful fog technique can gradually and quickly corrode objects, and its strength is stronger than that of melting. We must know that in the original work, as the two pillars of Sasuke, all the Suzuo can be quickly melted, which shows its power. To say that the mist spit out by the skill of mist, the diffusion speed is not very fast. But now, with Tiandao Pen's Vientian Tianian blessing, the acid mist that should have been spreading evenly around was directly drawn into a stream of air, and it flew towards the Shao organization quickly. Seeing this scene, the soiled face suddenly changed. He used to deal with Terumi Mei when he was in the mist, and he knew her tricks very well. Immediately he said to Tiandao, "No. This technique is very difficult." Huh. Tiandao Pain snorted coldly, his eyes widened suddenly. Stretching out his right hand, he immediately shouted coldly again, "Shen Luo Tianzheng." In the next second, a powerful repulsive force suddenly spread out from Tiandao's right hand. The acid mist drawn into a column was affected by the repulsive force and suddenly pushed in the opposite direction. The sudden repulsive force pushed Terumi Mei to fly upside down. Terumi Ming's silver teeth clenched, but her heart was unusually clear. If nothing happens, she will soon hit the wall hard. However, this time, she was in midair, and there was really no good way. If this is to plunge one head into the water and be ashamed of another, the key is not to directly stage a wave of temptation. For Qin Yu, who had long regarded Terumi Mei as his own woman, of course it was absolutely impossible to accept. Qin Yu curled his lips and muttered, "Tisk, what a stupid woman. Flying backwards so fast, and hitting the wall again, I'm afraid that if I don't die, I'll be seriously injured." She is ready to plunge into the water. In desperation, she had to seal her hands. However, I suddenly realized that I had hit a broad chest directly. At this time, Qin Yu's figure disappeared once again. Stretching his hands, he immediately hugged Terumi Mei who was flying backwards quickly. Although I said so on the surface, I didn't think so in my heart. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Terumi Ming was taken aback at once. Moreover, this is still in the open. P.S. Tomorrow New Year's Eve, update chapter 5, I wish you all a happy New Year's Eve. Whoosh. When he appeared again, the figure was already behind Terumi Mei. She tried to put a wall of water behind her, trying to slow the retreat through this water curtain. Chapter 155. I'm Uchiha Madara. Advertisement. Although Qin Yu was not very old, his strong masculine aura still came to his face. In addition, this situation can be said to be the time for the hero to save the beauty. Suddenly, Terumi Ming, a young woman who has just begun to love her, is a little confused. As soon as Qin Yu arrived at this position, he instantly felt a powerful repulsive force against his face. 8-door Dunjia. Open, close, live, and hurt. Qin Yu gave a soft drink, and instantly opened the first 4 doors of 8-door Dunjia. The powerful breath and green chakra spurted out of his body. In an instant, Qin Yu's breath suddenly soared. With this sudden surge of strength, Qin Yu actually forcibly resisted Shenluo Tianzheng's powerful repulsion. Whoosh! Qin Yu grasped this moment perfectly. As soon as his body moved, the instantaneous body technique was activated, and Terumi Ming disappeared in place. When the two appeared again, they had come to a remote corner. Feeling Terumi Ming held in his arms, Qin Yu couldn't help but hooked his mouth, without any enlightenment to take the initiative to let go. You bad guy. Terumi Ming rolled his eyes angrily, and then gently broke free. After that, she couldn't help turning around and taking a closer look at the man who had just saved her. He has a delicate face, and a wicked smile is always hung on Junyi's face. Every bit of his body reveals the three words, unreliable, but his strength is extremely powerful. All these kinds of things show Qin Yu's mystery and specialness. But that's all. At this moment, Terumi Mei, who is in love with her first love, is deeply attracted. Qin Yu hooked the corner of his mouth, and reached out his hand directly, touching the long chestnut hair beside Terumi Ming's face affectionately. I was scared just now. Then you watched from the side, and let the man take the fight and kill. From now on, the little master will cover you. Oh, Terumi Ming was taken aback by Qin Yu's movements and screamed in a low voice. She didn't expect Qin Yu in front of her to be so bold, and under all eyes, she could get started directly. But after recovering, she lowered her head shyly and replied softly, yeah. Qin Yu smiled, and immediately said, okay, you are going to be responsible for transferring the Misty people. This group of people is not easy to deal with. After a while, they will fight, and the movement will not be small. Upon hearing this, Terumi Mei asked worriedly in her beautiful eyes, then you can do it alone. Do you want me to stay and help you? Qin Yu raised his eyebrows directly at her and said, well, if you go up and hit like this, it might not work well, but if you stay down, you can definitely do it. You guy. Terumi rolled her eyes anger. But shortly afterwards, she approached Qin Yu timidly. Immediately he stood on his toes and lightly stamped on his forehead. After that, Terumi Ming ran away without looking back. Bad guy, be careful yourself. There was a little worried voice in the temptation, coming from afar. Qin Yu looked at Terumi Ming's leaving figure and twitched his mouth. At this time, on the high platform of the Water Shadow office, the faces with dirt and Tiandao were not very good looking. All of them are extremely arrogant people. One who thinks he is behind the scenes, the other who thinks he is a god, is a generation who thinks highly of himself. However, Qin Yu was still flirting with others in the process of fighting against them. How could such a scene be so difficult for both of them to stand for a while? Read more at hotmtl novel.zi. Immediately, Nagato controlled Tiandao and raised his right hand. Advertisement. At this moment, Shiradao also raised his right hand together. As for the animal path, he is also ready to channeling at any time. However, just as he was about to start his hand, the soil beside him stretched out his hand casually, and immediately blocked the way of heaven. Tiandao frowned slightly. Tiandao wants to know what to do with soil. Sure enough, brought the soil and said lightly, I will meet him when I go down. Hearing the words of God, he said in a deep voice, okay. I'll give you the battle. Whoosh, he nodded with soil, and immediately disappeared in place. When he appeared again, he had already arrived in front of Qin Yu. Bringing the soil coldly looked at Qin Yu in front of him, and said in a very indifferent tone, introduce myself, my name is Uchiha Madara. Qin Yu, I have to say that you are indeed a variable. It is amazing that you have such a powerful strength at this age. Even Zujian and I, at your age, are completely unworthy of being compared with you. There are sighs in the tone of the soil, but more of it is killing intent. It was a killing intent, as if it were a substance. Qin Yu twitched the corners of his mouth when he heard what Tai Tu said, but he still forcibly held back his smile. Even so, Qin Yu did not interrupt him, but watched him perform quietly. Because he suddenly felt that Dai Tu's current performance was really funny. To be honest, Qin Yu, I really admire you. After all, I have never seen a wizard like you. Although you have ruined my tail beast extraction plan and hit my organization members one after another, I am not angry. On the contrary, I appreciate it even more. When he said this, he sighed deeply. If I had killed you today, it would be a pity that you are capable of it. I am willing to give you one last chance to join the Akatsuki organization and create real peace together. Join the organization and take refuge in me. Only in this way can you survive, and in the same way can you become a real great man in the history of shinobi. After bringing the soil to speak, the writing wheel that was exposed outside stared at Qin Yu scorchingly. However, Qin Yu just sneered coldly at what Tai Tu said. Join the Akatsuki organization. Take refuge in you. What kind of onion are you? Uchiha Madara. Don't say I don't believe it, even if you are really Uchiha Madara, I can't take refuge in you. Haha. Dai Tu smiled suddenly, coldly. At the same time, his figure began to blur. Qin Yu, since you insist on choosing to be my enemy, then you have chosen the path of death. Give me to die. Suddenly, a voice with soil came from behind Qin Yu. At the same time, he also stretched his hand to the neck behind Qin Yu. Feeling the murderous intent of approaching quickly, the cold hair on the back of Qin Yu's neck stood up. Qin Yu originally wanted to use the instantaneous technique to move his body. However, he suddenly discovered that at this time his body seemed to be out of his control. Qin Yu frowned slightly, and suddenly realized that the spatial fluctuations beside him were already very disordered. However, the space is so disordered, the reason is that it is affected by the technique of bringing soil. At this moment, even Qin Yu couldn't help but sigh that the kaleidoscope skills of this guy with soil really changed too much. You know, his kaleidoscope contains temporal and spatial ninjutsu like Shinwei. It can be said that the eyes with soil are the most miraculous pair in the eyes of several kaleidoscopes.